Hey, what's going on, folks? Let me go ahead and add some. Let me find my playlist here. Let me go ahead and get the playlist set here. I got a lot of videos that have a lot of potential, but we may not use all of them. I'm probably not going to do the Olbermann one. I'm not going to do the Trump wins one. That one was deleted. We're going to leave these alone. There we go. Okay, we narrowed it down now to a few other videos. I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Move this one up. We already did that one. I'm going to watch that one on my own. Take that off. Take that off. Okay. Just want to double check there. What's going on, everybody? Let's go ahead and let me go ahead and share the screenioli there. There we go. All right. Okay. So stuff is happening. Donald Trump gave a speech just now, basically kind of putting everyone at ease. A lot of people are, saying that it was a drone speech. It was just a boring speech. People like Richard Spencer were saying, while others were just kind of like, actually, it's one of those sort of things. Like, well, actually, it just, to me, that's a silly sort of thing.
So what happens if
Okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. This is another video. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this one. Okay, sorry. Just checking through the videos I was going to show. All right, there we go. So we simplified it to 4 videos, and we'll do some other stuff as well. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, like I say, so Trump gave his speech. Basically kind of gave a rundown, not even a speech really, but gave a rundown of what's going on. Some people said it was boring. Some people said it was to scare the GOP. Who knows, right? But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get into videos here. We're going to watch a funny one.
Believe in racial integration.
And then we're going to watch some other ones here, but yeah. Okay, so we got rid of that one. This one to me is just funny.
James and Reedy.
Okay, we're going to watch this funny one from Australia. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. Thought his speech was very eerie. Yeah, it did seem kind of that way, but yeah, let's watch this funny one first here.
You're over there live in New York to see if you can do the impossible and help get Donald back in for 4 more action-packed years.
I don't care about these Aussies here. Okay, here we go.
We love Trump.
Here we go. Oh, Lord have mercy. Here we go. This is going to be funny. It's going to be, yeah. Okay, here we go.
We're saying.
We love Trump. We love Trump. 4 more years. 4 more years. We love Trump. 4 more years. We love Trump.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, well, there you go. I'm not even going to show the rest of that. Yeah, this is just the dumb Aussies talking. Okay, but there you go, folks. There you go. Yeah. So that was the my base Japanese. Let's talk about RT next here. I'm sorry to sound like a reporter or something like that, but now let's move on to this RT video. We saw so much good stuff from that first RT video, didn't we? That we saw. The one where they were really posting cringe. And I thought, you know what? We gotta do this one too. So let's get into it, shall we?
On what the courts decide, we have to be in the streets demanding this regime must go.
I'm sorry. Let's play that back. Sorry. That was funny. That was funny. Okay, let me turn it down so I don't blow up my eardrum. There we go. Sorry. I don't want to blow up my eardrum. Okay, go ahead.
Decide we have to be in the streets demanding this regime must go.
That was funny. I don't care what you say. That is funny.
Tackle the black man and arrested him for no reason because he was wearing a mask.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Did we ever have a democracy? I don't think we did. See, the thing is, I was watching this, just thinking about it here. While, someone decides to do the booty dance, booty, butt, cheeks, rump. I love that. Oh, the Boondocks. But anyway, I was thinking about the video by Jimmy Dore, and he was interviewing this guy, Greg Palast, who's apparently a legendary journalist, this and that. And he was talking about, black folks getting kicked off the voter rolls and all this type of thing, and talking about slavery. But then he says the last real, election that we have. It's just like, did we ever have real elections? And the thing is, just like he said, is that we weren't even promised elections in the Constitution. But of course, you'll have idiots like what's his face, Bo the Fifth Column, Justin King, who'll be like, well, because Amy Coney Barrett can't answer some questions about the Constitution, she shouldn't be eligible. Shut up. We never had who cares? We never had democracy in the first place. America.
No more presidents! No more presidents!
You were singing.
Hey, why don't you put your what is that, falafel or something? Why don't you put your not a falafel, I'm sorry. It looks like a naan bread from India. Why don't you put your naan bread down and focus on singing? Golly, let me check the chat here. Future looks bright. Yeah, exactly. I never got a notification for the stream starting 30 minutes later. When I missed. Oh, not much. You didn't miss that much, Red Dendonian. We covered a short little brief funny video and everything. Yeah, gosh, the twerking at protests is the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Los Larperos. Yep, it is, yeah. Does that song have lyrics or is it just them making noises? I think it's them making noises, but yeah. Oh, boy. You boy. Okay, here we go. Like this guy. He looks the most halfway decent looking guy. I guarantee you. It's like, bro, what are you doing? I guarantee you he's doing this so he can get some coochie from the chick who's trying to sing. I guarantee you. He's like, bro, I may have a chance to get laid by Esmeralda there or something, by Marisol. I guarantee you he's like, bro, I'm gonna get some from Marisol if I do this. Okay. I'll just sit there with my cleft chin and everything. I guarantee you that's what he's trying to do. Oh, my goodness. Because, it's like, this is the gay friend. This guy in the middle, he's the gay friend. And it's like, he just wants so bad to smash. You can tell. All right. Oh, I'm dirty. I'm sorry, folks. Yeah. Naan bread is good though. I don't have any problem with naan bread. I'm just saying it's wild. Okay. DC demonstrations. You know what? Social Democrats, Labor Party folks, you have ruined the rose as a flower for me. You have ruined that as a flower. You know, I would rather have a chrysanthemum or a hibiscus or any other type of flower than a rose. I'm sick of roses now. I'd rather have a daffodil. You know, I'd rather have a daffodil than a rose because idiots like you ruined the rose. I'm just saying. I know that that's kind of a theme for me. It's like, yeah, I give up on certain things, but yeah, I'm sick of the rose.
The blood of Jesus! 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 The blood of...
Okay, I'm skipping past that. Okay. Is everything in America just a giant party? Is that the whole thing? It's like, I live in Texas. You don't see this type of shit around here for the most part. Unless you live in like Dallas, Fort Worth, or Austin, or some really, really, really urban zone, you don't see this shit. I can guarantee you. But yeah, eventually someone's going to clip that, and then I'm going to be proven wrong, but still. Oh boy. I mean, what is there to say at this? I mean, just goofiness, just, you know, just people so blinded that they think that just because they get rid of Trump that everything's going to change. I guarantee you there's probably a significant amount of people who think that if we just get rid of Trump, then things will be better. It has never worked that way, and it never will. Even our revolutions are gay discos, yeah.
Demanding this regime must go.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
The system is outrageous.
The system is outrageous.
They put these kids in cages.
They put our kids in
Oh my gosh. That's so sad. That's so sad on so many levels. Oh.
cages.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
Trump, Pence, out now.
The system is outrageous.
The system is outrageous.
Oh, great. Yeah. We saw the guy with the baseball bat earlier. What a joy, huh?
They put these kids in cages.
It's just gay LARP versus gay LARP, isn't it? It really is. It's like, let's have the gay LARP of, you know, the Boogaloo Boys and the Proud Boys, as relevant as they may not be. And we're gonna have a guy with a baseball bat sticking out of his jacket. I mean, sticking out of his backpack with the light up things. It's like, what was that? That DJ Danger Mouse or whatever the fuck it was. That's like, oh. It's just gay LARP, isn't it? This is for people that can't afford to get in the club. This is really what it is, isn't it? I think it's like people protest probably because they see it as a party. It's like a block party in their view because they can't afford to go to the club, or they can't afford to go to the rock show that Well, kids in cages, exactly. Suspicious voting trends. Yeah, we will talk about it. We will talk about it. But yeah, I'm just, yeah. Is not evangelical. Yeah, evangelism, dude. Yeah. The flashing mask. Isn't a split of a mask to make you stand out less? Yeah.
Trump, Pence,
But like I said, we're going to keep taking a stand, man, even after this night. This night is not it. We might not even find out who the president is before we leave, y'all. We not, as a matter of fact. Make sure y'all participate in y'all local elections. Make sure y'all vote for y'all council members, y'all in D.C. Make sure y'all vote on the state and local level, man. Not just on the federal level. But I really appreciate y'all, and I'm proud of y'all for hitting the polls this year, because they expect for us not to vote, man. We come from a place where people like, man, that shit don't matter if we go out there and vote. But we out here to let them know we need them to count all the votes, man. Count all votes.
People just fall for easy bullshit, don't they? Just count all the votes, bro. Just count all the votes. Hold on. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and show it, because I did see Red Dondoni say something. So you know what? Give me a minute there. Give me a minute, and I will we'll put something up here. Hold on. Let me put something up here. Let me see what we got here. I'm giving away the secrets. I'm giving away secrets. Here we go. Not this. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and discuss it for a minute then about the voting trends. Let me go ahead. I'm going to make it big screen here. That way everybody can see. There we go. No sound on this. So you see what this guy's doing? Now some say is that these were damaged ballots, and he's just filling out what this person says. Now we don't know that for sure. We don't know that. So the thing is that there's a lot of back and forth. You know, the thing is, I believe that, you know, there are plenty of ballots that are thrown out, but then there are ballots that appear out of nowhere. So yeah, that is an issue, definitely. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just type in ballots right quick on Twitter, and I'll show some other video. Yeah, there's a lot of very suspicious activity. Okay, that's a video I just showed. I'm a registered Democrat in the county of Philadelphia. I'm overseeing ballot counters. The level of corruption going on here is at the highest level. Okay, here we go.
Right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Here we go.
My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat in the city of Philadelphia. Today, I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I am overseeing the ballot counters. I will let you know the corruption that is going on here. They will not allow us within 30 to 100 feet to supervise the ballots being counted. This is a coup against the President of the United States of America, and I want to call out the Mayor of Philadelphia, James Kenney, the Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who tweeted that there's no way Donald Trump can win President of the United States of America, and also the District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. I can't believe what I'm seeing right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This has to do with our democracy, and I will tell you, there is corruption at the highest level in the city of Philadelphia. My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat.
So there we go on that. The thing is that we should have known this already. You know, we can all remember when they were flipping coins for the, you know, for the freaking what the fuck was it? The midterm. Well, I can't even think of it. But anyway, when you saw them flipping coins to decide who's going to choose what, for the Democratic primary, the Democratic primary, excuse me, that's what it is, Democratic primary, then you should have known that shit is out the window, you know. Absentee military ballots remain uncounted in key states. Lovely. Let me go ahead and retweet that just for the hell of it. But yeah, it's definitely an issue. And Donald Trump did cover it. You know what? Let's go ahead and cover that right quick. Yeah. Yeah, Ebonics speech, yeah. Yeah, gosh, the flask, yeah. Implying there hasn't always been rampant corruption. Yeah, exactly. There has always been corruption to some degree. Yeah. Let's go ahead and watch, you know what? Because this is just okay.
And we pray if
it's just gayness. Okay.
Hey, Sarge.
I don't care about this one.
I hope you ain't paid for that haircut, bitch.
We're gonna go ahead and expand a little bit here. We're not even gonna bother this. It's just Fed posting. We're gonna go ahead and just kick that off. Okay, we're gonna watch this brief video from Reason TV.
The 2020 election.
And then we'll show Donald Trump's recent. Well, actually, we'll go side to side. So we'll show Joe Biden's speech, and then we'll do Donald Trump's, or not their speech, but their message to the voters. We'll put it that way.
Was a stunning rebuke to prohibitionists and a crucial milestone in the unraveling of the disastrous U.S. war on drugs. Across the country and by overwhelming margins, American voters came out in favor of legalizing marijuana, removing criminal penalties for psychedelic use, and opening new possibilities for treating drug addiction as a public health concern. The biggest victory was in Oregon, where voters overwhelmingly approved a measure that will make it the first state to eliminate the possibility of jail time for possession of heroin, cocaine, oxycodone, and every other narcotic. Instead, those possessing small amounts of drugs could be hit with, at most, a $100 fine.
It's a really bold experiment. It essentially embodies this idea that, look, arresting people and locking them up for using drugs is not very effective. So let's stop arresting and putting them in prison and instead set up education, treatment, recovery programs, use the money from the legal marijuana market to fund all of that. It's the harm reduction approach written into law across the board.
Oregon also passed Measure 109, making it the first state to legalize psilocybin, the main psychoactive ingredient in magic mushrooms.
There you go. There you go. We're going to start seeing more of this stuff going on in Oregon, you know. Tony Montana, the future Tony Montana is going to come out of Oregon. Go ahead.
In 2018, the Food and Drug Administration granted psilocybin breakthrough therapy status for treatment-resistant depression. In Washington, D.C., voters opted by a margin of 3-1 to require that law enforcement make the prosecution of use, possession, and cultivation of entheogenic plants and fungi, like psilocybin mushrooms, its lowest priority.
The most important thing to keep in mind is it is a referendum in the sort of classic sense. It does not change law in any way. It simply says, look, government of D.C., we the people think that the police and the district attorneys should stop arresting and prosecuting people for psychedelic plants. So please do that.
Mississippi, Arizona, South Dakota, New Jersey, and Montana all passed initiatives allowing marijuana to be sold for either medical or recreational use. Moore says that there's a danger that some of the legal structures established by these ballot measures, such as in Arizona, will repeat the mistakes of other states where regulated cartels dominate.
It really...
Cartels. Oh, this is... Okay. So let's listen to this bullshit here for a minute. Because this is the typical libertarian. Once again, to a point, I can agree with what they're saying. Is that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't just arrest people for having a gram of coke. Or arresting them for, growing shrooms or something like that. But here is the whole this is the whole right-wing libertarian argument. So here we go.
Measures, such as in Arizona, will repeat the mistakes of other states where regulated cartels dominate.
It really is designed to give the existing medical marijuana providers control of the market and not...
Well, because they're established. That's usually the way it works. I mean, what... You're supposed to get people to bend over backwards to say, yeah, a guy that just got released from jail, we're going to go ahead and get you, we're going to give you some starting capital. We're going to, get a couple of angel funds, and we're going to get this money so that you can start your own business. And then you can get a pro forma statement ready so that you can send it into the bank. It doesn't work that way. Capitalism does not work that way. It just doesn't work. It's never worked that way. I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, that's a Trump video. But yeah.
Let anybody else into the market, which is kind of crazy. It also establishes all kinds of rules governing the market that have been pretty well shown in other states not to work very well. So on the one...
Well, no shit. It's just like, oh, but there's things that... This is, once again, this is the typical ANCAP libertarian sort of... It's crony capitalism, if things were truly open, then suddenly we would have things better. Capitalism doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The thing is, of course, it's like, if you legalize something, it's going to benefit people that are already in business. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because they know how to play the game and they play by the regulations and everything else. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's because of that. And they're not going to just let any bozo who says, yeah, I like weed, I'm going to open up my own shop, bro. Come on, man. I mean, libertarians are retarded. Or they are purposely ignorant, more to the point. Not real capitalism. Yeah, it really is. Except some new votes can be found, to be found in favor of Biden. Yeah. I agree, Red Dundoni. Once again, I don't disagree at all.
One hand, it legalizes marijuana. On the other hand, it sets up a market that is destined to be full of problems and corruption.
But we could set up a better market, though. How? How would you set up a better market, dude? I just don't get that. Where it's just like, the established businesses are going to prosper more than, some established ones. That's usually the way it works. It's like if you legalized cannabis nationwide, you think that Walmart wouldn't get involved and start selling indica? Of course they would. Of course they'd sell indica if they could, or they could sell whichever strain of weed that you want to. I mean, I don't know. But it's like, bro, what world do you live in? I mean, this is just the idiocy of Lolberts. Once again, though, this is the idiocy of ANCAPs and Lolberts.
Crony nonsense.
But so far, a clear takeaway from the 2020 election is that the American public has had enough of the government locking people in cages for putting mind-altering substances into their own bodies. And the tragic war on drugs is finally coming to an end.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The war on drugs just got co-opted by capitalism, just like everything does. Capitalism co-ops everything. They'll turn, a music form like hip hop, and they'll turn it into something where they have, rapping Rodney, or they'll change it into like rapping grandma or something like that. That's what they do. It gets co-opted. They don't even recognize it. Capitalism just swallows it up. And it loses all its edginess. The same thing with, like breakdancing or graffiti painting or whatever the case may be. They get swallowed up by the system. Or people will say, oh, yeah, that was such a great art form back in the 1970s and 80s. In actuality, those same lyrics would be like, I don't like this at all. So, no. This is, Me and Kaz back on Discord have a good comment thread about his latest video. Good info there. Oh, okay, cool. Libertarians are extremely stupid. Yeah, exactly. At least now drugs won't be an issue that targets specifically black people. Yeah, that's fair. Which is easier to solve because more people are in the proletariat class than are in minority. Yeah, that's fair. Even marijuana got co-opted by capitalism. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say Cheech and Chong were definitely a part of that. As much as they tried to be edgy or this and that, ultimately Cheech Marin went on to do, different shows and everything else, You think that they would allow Up in Smoke if they didn't want it to be co-opted? I don't, I just don't, That's just me, though, No, I'm not going to turn on the Thought Slime stream. There we go. There you go. What a load of conch. What a load of crap. Okay. Oops. Let's go ahead and see this right quick here. Let's see here. So it should come up as a new one, hopefully. Okay, here's a new one. It just came up. So it's about 1 minute and 48. So he delivers this here. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to be fair here. And we're going to play both of them. That the presidents that, or one that could be president, one that already is. We'll put it that way. And that's probably You know what? I'm going to just leave it there. We're gonna play something from both the candidates. There you go.
Senator Harris and I just completed briefings on both COVID and the economic crisis facing this nation. And we're reminded again of the severity of this pandemic. Cases are on the rise nationwide, and we're nearing 240,000 deaths due to COVID.
Reminder about Joe Biden's YouTube channel. Reminder. Live chat replay is not available. Oh, they do have the comments open on this one. Okay. I was going to say, normally they have the comments turned off, but apparently, yeah.
And our hearts go out to each and every family that has lost a loved one to this terrible disease. In America, the vote is sacred. It's how people of this nation express their will. And it is the will of the voters, no one, not anything else, that chooses the President of the United States of America. So each ballot must be counted. And that's what we're going to see going through now. And that's how it should be. Democracy is sometimes messy. It sometimes requires a little patience as well. That patience has been rewarded now for more than 240 years with a system of governance that's been the envy of the world.
No, it hasn't. The thing is that our government, the United States government, comes from the Enlightenment. It comes from British-style liberalism, and mixed with basically folks that wanted to make their money and didn't want to be fucked over by the government. That's the whole idea of the United States government. All right, that's all you need to know. All right. The thing is that voting is not something that's in the Constitution. Legislatures have control over voting. They just gave us voting just as lip service. They didn't give a shit about ordinary people voting. So, yeah, I don't really care about this bullshit argument. But yeah, that's the thing.
We continue to feel, Senator and I, we continue to feel very good about where things stand. We have no doubt that when the count is finished, Senator Harris and I will be declared the winners.
It is.
So I ask everyone to stay calm, all people to stay calm. The process is working. The count is being completed, and we'll know very soon. So thank you all for your patience, but we have to count the votes. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And of course, there are other issues in terms of ballots being used by Sharpies, which were all thrown out. So there is so much out there. There really is. And you can feel as you want to about Donald Trump or Joe Biden. But like I say, I think in general, the fix is in. Somebody got some reports from somewhere and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this. Like I say, it is a bullshit system, though. Because, for example, in the state that I live in, I'll put it that way, it's all electronical. It's all done through, you go up there, you do your little ballot, and they save that information. I imagine it's put on a thumb drive or put on some sort of hard drive or some sort of cloud, and that gets sent over. It gets processed that way. Others still have, the mail ballots and, like paper ballots where you stick it in. It's a crazy system. And of course I wish it would, to be less complicated. I wish it was just 50 different ways that things happen. But we know that even amongst different counties in different states, it's different. It's such a complicated and overly fucked up affair, frankly. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and look here. Yeah. Our system is a government. Yep. It really is, though. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say. And you know what? I'm not going to pull any punches. If I hear something that he said that's off, I will cut him off just to make sure.
Good evening. I'd like to provide the American people with an update on our efforts to protect the integrity of our very important 2020 election. If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already.
Come on now. Come on. Come on, Donnie. You can't be that. Go ahead. I know he's got a big ego, but daggum, bro. You can't be that cocky. Come on.
Decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida.
Yeah, indirect suffrage is BS, yeah. Lies of the Enlightenment. Yeah, I have seen that. I have seen a bit of Endeavor's videos.
Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. To name just a few, we won these and many other victories despite historic election interference from big media, big money, and big tech. As everybody saw, we won by historic numbers. And the pollsters got it knowingly wrong. They got it knowingly wrong. We had polls that were so ridiculous, and everybody knew it at the time. There was no blue wave that they predicted. They thought there was going to be a big blue wave. That was false. It was done for suppression reasons. But instead, there was a big red wave. And it's been properly acknowledged, actually, by the media. They were, I think, very impressed. But that was after the fact. That doesn't do us any good. We kept the Senate despite having twice as many seats to defend as Democrats. And in a really much more competitive states, we did a fantastic job with the Senate. I think we're very proud of what's happened there. We had many more seats to defend. They spent almost $200 million on Senate races in South Carolina and Kentucky alone, 2 races, and hundreds of millions of dollars overall against us. At the national level, our opponents' major donors were Wall Street bankers and special interests. Our major donors were police officers, farmers, everyday citizens. Yet for the first time ever, we lost 0 races in the House.
Okay, I mean, the thing is about, ordinary people and police organizations, this and that. The thing is, he's still got his own money as well. So let's put that into perspective, can we?
I was talking to Kevin McCarthy today. He said he couldn't believe it. 0 races, very unusual thing, 0. And actually won many new seats with, I think, many more on the way. This was also the year of the Republican woman. More Republican women were elected to Congress than ever before. That's a great achievement. I won the largest share of non-white voters of any.
You know what? Give me just a moment, folks. I'm going to turn off. There's something that just clicked in my head. Let me double check here. Double check something here. What's this? Huh. Huh. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Just give me just a moment. There's something I just thought about I needed to check. Okay, just that. What's this? Yeah, I got that done. Okay. Sorry about that. I hadn't checked my mail, so I figured I would do that right quick. Apologies, folks. And okay, that's all. November 8th. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and delete all these. Sorry about that. I literally just thought about it. And I was like, oh, crap, I better check my mail. I just thought about it. Nothing on purpose, yeah. Okay. I wonder how. Let's see what we got here. Hey. Yay. Okay. Sorry about that. That was just yay. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I just had to check everything right quick. Yeah. How long do you guys think Twitter will go before they just start right at deleting Trump's tweets? And pretty far. Yeah, they're already deleting Eric Trump's tweets. Yeah, they talked about they will permaban. If Donald Trump loses in January, they will permaban him. That's what I saw anyway. Yeah, which is wild to think about.
Republican in 60 years, including historic numbers of Latino, African American, Asian American, and Native American voters, the largest ever in our history. We grew our party by 4 million voters, the greatest turnout in Republican Party history. Democrats are the party of the big donors, the big media, the big tech, it seems, and Republicans have become the party of the American worker, and that's what's happened.
Not quite. Republicans quite aren't the party of the worker. Let's not try to fool ourselves here. They're still the banker party.
And we're also, I believe, the party of inclusion, as everyone now recognizes.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Once again, as much as, you know, this is one of the things where I know damn well I'm not a MAGA Pete for this. And a lot of folks are going to say, base Trump. And then when they hear this, they stick their fingers in their ears when they hear this.
This media polling was election interference in the truest sense of that word by powerful special interests. These really phony polls, I have to call them phony polls, fake polls, were designed to keep.
And I mean that in the sense of inclusion. You know, like, oh, well, we include gay folks and this and that. It's like, ooh, I know a lot of MAGA Pete's are like,
keep our voters at home, create the illusion of momentum for Mr. Biden, and diminish Republicans' ability to raise funds. They were,
I just want this to
what's
end
called
already. Yeah,
suppression
me too.
polls. Everyone knows that now.
We all do.
It's never been used to the extent that it's been used on this last election. To highlight just a few examples, the day before election, Quinnipiac, which was wrong on every occasion that I know of, had Joe Biden up by 5 points in Florida, and they were off by 8.4 points, and I won Florida easily. So they had me losing Florida by a lot, and I ended up winning Florida by a lot. Other than that, they were very accurate. They had him up 4 points in Ohio, and they were up by 12.2 points. And they also won Ohio, great state of Ohio, very easily. The Washington Post had Biden up 17 points in Wisconsin, and it was basically even. They were off by about 17 points. And they knew that. They're not stupid people. They knew that. Suppression.
Yeah.
There are now only a few states yet to be decided in the presidential race. The voting apparatus of those states are run in all cases by Democrats. We were winning in all the key locations by a lot, actually. And then our numbers started miraculously getting whittled away in secret. And they wouldn't allow legally permissible observers. We went to court in a couple of instances, and we were able to get the observers put in. And when the observers got there, they wanted them 60, 70 feet away, 80 feet, 100 feet away, or outside the building
Tucker,
to
yeah.
observe
Yeah.
people inside the building. And we won a case, a big case, and we have others happening. There are lots of litigation, even beyond our litigation. There's tremendous amount of litigation generally because of how unfair this process was. And I predicted that. I've been talking about mail-in voting for a long time. It's really destroyed our system. It's a corrupt system, and it makes people corrupt even if they aren't by nature, but they become corrupt. It's too easy. They want to find out how many votes they need, and then they seem to be able to find them. They wait, and then they find them. And you see that on election night. We were ahead in vote in North Carolina by a lot, tremendous number of votes. And we're still ahead by a lot, but not as many because they're finding ballots all of a sudden. Oh, we have some mail-in ballots. It's amazing how those mail-in ballots are so one-sided, too. I know that it's supposed to be to the advantage of the Democrats, but in all cases, they're so one-sided. We were up by nearly 700,000 votes in Pennsylvania. I won Pennsylvania by a lot, and that gets whittled down to, I think they said now we're up by 90,000 votes, and they'll keep coming and coming and coming. They find them all over.
Let's take a look at the map right quick, just to see. Okay. So this is Associated Press. I don't really... Yeah, this is kind of a shit map. Let me see what we got here. Fox 10, 270 to win. Let me see here. I don't really like that one. Let me see here. I think Decision Desk is a good one. Let me check that one right quick. We'll go ahead and see. We'll go ahead and look at the map right quick here. Okay, so Georgia looks like it's going to Trump. It looks like. It's not quite there yet. But yeah, I guess it's still undecided. 2 counties in Nevada are still up for grabs, they say. Arizona looks like it's pretty much gone blue, it looks like. Yeah, this is presumably the map as it is. It just hasn't been called quite yet. But yeah. Like I say, that's according to the map. You can take, yeah. Not to use mail-in ballots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Georgia is yeah. Yeah, Atlanta, A-town. Go ahead.
And they don't want us to have any observers, although we want a court case. The judge said you have to have observers. Likewise in Georgia, and they're appealing. Actually, they're appealing. We want a case that we want people to watch, and we want observers, and they're actually appealing, which is sort of interesting. I wonder why they'd appeal, that all we want to do is have people watch as they do the vote tabulations. Likewise in Georgia, I won by a lot, with a lead of over getting close to 300,000 votes.
Yeah, here we go.
In Georgia, and by the way, got whittled down, and now it's getting to be to a point where I'll go from winning by a lot to perhaps being even down a little bit. In Georgia, a pipe burst in a faraway location, totally unrelated to the location of what was happening, and they stopped counting for 4 hours, and a lot of things happened. The election apparatus in Georgia is run by Democrats. We also had margins of 300,000. In Michigan, we're way up in Michigan.
Yeah, Sherman Woods poll pot is confirmed.
And
yeah.
In Wisconsin, we did likewise fantastically well. And that got whittled down. In every case, they got whittled down. Today, we're on track to win Arizona. We only need to carry, I guess, 55% of the remaining vote, 55% margins. And that's a margin that we've significantly exceeded. So we'll see what happens with that. But we're on track to do okay in Arizona. Our goal is to defend the integrity of the election.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Corruption to steal such an important election, or any election for that matter. And we can't allow anybody to silence our voters and manufacture results. I've been doing a lot of public things for a long time. I've never had anything that's been as inspirational, by people calling, talking, sending things to us. I've never seen such love and such affection and such spirit as I've seen for this. People know what's happening, and they see what's happening, and it's before their eyes. And there are many instances which will be reported very shortly. There's tremendous litigation going on, and this is a case where they're trying to steal an election. They're trying to rig an election, and we can't let that happen. Detroit and Philadelphia, known as 2 of the most corrupt political places anywhere in our country, easily cannot be responsible for engineering the outcome of a presidential race, a very important presidential race. In Pennsylvania, Democrats have gone to the state Supreme Court to try and ban our election observers.
Please use your own language.
Oh,
my own language. Okay.
Sorry about that.
They don't want anybody in there. They don't want anybody watching them as they count the ballots. And I can't imagine why. There's absolutely no legitimate reason why they would not want to have people watching this process, because if it's straight, they should be proud of it. Instead, they're trying, obviously, to commit fraud. There's no question about that. In Philadelphia, observers have been kept far away, very far away, so far that people are using binoculars to try
All
and see.
political
And there's
entities
been
come.
tremendous
Okay.
problems caused. They put paper on all of the windows so you can't see in, and the people that are banned are very unhappy and become somewhat violent. The 11th Circuit ruled that in Georgia, the votes have been in by Election Day, that they should be in by Election Day, and they weren't. Votes are coming in after Election Day. And they had a ruling already that you have to have the votes in by Election Day. To the best of my knowledge, votes should be in by Election Day. And they didn't do that. Democrat officials never believed they could win this election, honestly. I really believe that. That's why they did the mail-in ballots, where there's tremendous corruption and fraud going on. That's why they mailed out tens of millions of unsolicited ballots without any verification measures whatsoever. And I've told everybody that these things would happen because I've seen it happen. I watched a lot of different elections before
November 6th,
decided to go with this big, massive election with tens of millions of ballots going out to everybody, in many cases totally unsolicited. This was unprecedented in American history. This was by design, despite years of claiming to care about the election security. They refused to include any requirement
Oh,
to
Biden
verify
won?
signatures,
Oh,
identities,
shit.
or even determine
Okay, well, there you go. Press F, I guess, yeah.
eligible or ineligible.
Might as
to
well.
vote. People are walking
Let me
in there.
check.
They have no idea. They're just taking numbers. They're writing down things, the workers, and doing a lot of bad things. And we have a lot of information coming and litigation that you'll see that will shake even you people up. And you've seen it all. The officials
Let me
oversee.
take a look right quick here. Oh, yeah, here's something for somebody. If you ever do Biden.com, it's not registered. So if you want to do Biden.com, yeah, just to make sure here, I'm going to go ahead and click. This is a random thing I did. I wanted to see. You can buy the domain. So you can have Biden.com and you can start creating your own website. So there you go. Just to say. You could do like Biden.com and it's really, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying. I find that fascinating. Well, let's see. Keep the faith, folks. Yeah. RIP acceleration. Well. Let's go ahead and continue.
The county in Pennsylvania and other key states are all part of a corrupt Democrat machine that you've written about. And for a long time, you've been writing about the corrupt Democrat machine. I went to school there and I know a lot about it. It hasn't changed. It's a long time ago and hasn't changed. It's gotten worse. In Pennsylvania, partisan Democrats have allowed ballots in the state to be received 3 days after the election. And we think much more than that. And they're counting those without even postmarks or any identification whatsoever. So you don't have postmarks, you don't have identification. There have been a number of disturbing irregularities across the nation, and the batches came in and nobody knew where they came from. So
Okay, well, I could listen to all of that, but I do have other things to, other videos to review and whatnot. But I will say this is, I don't really care about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. The reality, though, is that, yeah, Trump was so incompetent he couldn't do acceleration. I mean, the thing is, man, it depends on, well, vice president really doesn't have that much power necessarily. But, you know, the thing is that Joe Biden is going to try to I mean, he has said this already, is that he's going to basically... All right. Okay. But the thing is that what I was gonna say is Joe Biden will continue to tie with an umbilical cord the United States to Europe again. And to me, you can say what you will about Trump and call him a fascist or call him whatever and say he's incompetent. And I'll say, yeah, that's true. But the United States does not need to be involved in Europe. The United States does not need to be involved in Korea. We do not need to have troops on the ground. Yeah, he will start more wars. Yeah. Who? Donald Trump? Yeah, Joe Biden will start more wars. Absolutely. Joe Biden will start more wars. If you think that Joe Biden is not going to start any more wars. But yeah. But I really don't believe that. Joe Biden, supported the Klan. Of course, they always say, oh, well, Robert Byrd changed his views, this and that. He was still a KKK member. If he was alive today, they would have, thrown him out in his ear. But yeah, that's my view. That's true. The reality is, though, is that, people like Joe Biden, once he gets in there, chances are he'll probably die in office. And then you're going to get Kamala Harris. Now, that could be a case for accelerationism because, yeah, Kamala Harris, depending on, how much power she really has, she's going to have the police arresting as many people as she wants to, You're going to get your first female president who's going to just act a damn fool, But yeah. But that's my take, that's, I don't think that's necessarily a hot take. I think other people are saying that too. American people don't care about war, having a shitty domestic situation. Yeah. Yeah. She is. You can go ahead and say, if Biden wins, it's whatever. But we have to think about, acceleration, but never ends. Yeah, exactly. President Kamala. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I could pull, just kind of Kamala is in. You could say goodbye to dissonant politics forever. I don't know about that. Well, I have faith in that somehow, but okay, so we pretty much watched the end of this.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to go ahead and cut a root to this video here. This is a video I found in some thread on Twitter. And I clicked on, apparently it was from BitChute. And it sounds like it's from this guy, Alt-Hype. And for those that don't know, Alt-Hype or Alternative Hypothesis was a libertarian. He's a gay dude. He's in relationship with some Asian dude. So yes, that is a huge strike against him. Or a few strikes against him, depending on what you want to say. So in general, yeah, he is cringe. But let's go ahead and take a look at this video about balkanization and see what it looks like, Let's go ahead and see.
Come to an end. It would have been so better for Rome if they figured out that their empire... All political entities come to an end.
Yeah.
It would have been so better for Rome if they figured out that their empire was moribund, in decline, and that it was time to end it. No meaningful reform would ever come from the Senate. Why wait for the barbarians to break it up? Or some other disaster to dissolve the Union? Give way to the governors and the unified nationalities in Greece, Asia Minor, and Iberia a chance to make their own way. The animating energy of the founding was long gone, and the government was a confused mess of competing ethnic groups, ideologies, and duplicitous merchants out to get monopoly or favor the rest of the empire be damned. Would only they see past the romance of Rome and let go of this counterfeit of those heady days of its vitality. Or to stop throwing away good money for bad, recognizing that it's not what it used to be and just move on. We know America's now in no man's land. What is American? Is it a religion? No. Is it a race? Well, heavens no. How dare I ask such a question? Well, is it a view on government? Not even that. You can be anyone, worship or not worship any god, and believe anything about the ideal society and still be an American. And so American, and thus America, is rendered meaningless. The incoherence is manifest. Let's look at a market provision of a service. I'm thinking about medical services here, but it could really be anything. It could be schools or food or anything else. In this system, the rich pay taxes to fund the government to pay the poor enough to afford the services. But the rich themselves pay for their own service, and everyone else just pays for themselves. Or we can look at socialized or universal or single payer provision of a service. Everyone who can afford it pays in, and the government doles out the service on the basis of need. The rich pay more in taxes and usually have enough to pay for premium private services as well, the premium schools, premium healthcare, or whatever. We've all heard the pluses and minuses of each approach, but both methods are fundamentally coherent and both will work. But what happens when neither the free marketers or...
I remember when alt-hype, when him and his, not his gay partner, but his business partner, I think, or whoever, was, they debated David Sharat. You know, and remember David Sharat? Remember that loser who turned out to be such a huge incel and everything like that? Oh, those were the days. That feels like forever now, when it was only like a year or two ago.
Or the socialists dominate.
Kung Fu economics,
well,
yeah.
You get the firms lobbying the government to grant them all sorts of monopolies and regulations that help them. It's kind of a market because people are buying from private companies and they see the big logos and they see it's a corporation and stuff. But the government heavily intervenes. So the firms get barriers to entry, laws requiring people to buy something, saying you can only buy from a firm in your state, or that any new firm has to be licensed. And who controls licensing? Well, government. Well, who controls government, at least in the context of, say, medical licensing? Well, the firms. And so they can jack up the prices to where medicine, medical insurance, and drugs are more expensive in the U.S. than anywhere on the planet, and you have to buy it. And the poor aren't necessarily being covered depending on where they live.
Okay.
And nobody can stop this because there's no unified opposition. The Senate is divided between party, divided between ethnic interests who only want theirs. Why worry yourself over overarching problems of the empire? Just take back some more government money for your constituency, or get some tax cuts for them if your constituents are rich, and do one of those two things and you're set for re-election. At the very least, breaking up the United States would free you from all of those people with all of the wrong ideas about how things to be done that you hate. So, all right, all this sounds good. Let's do it tomorrow. I'll call Trump and tell him that we had this talk and we've decided to partition the United States into new countries. Of course, it's not something that's going to come easily, but take heart. In 2014, 24% of Americans supported their state seceding, while 53% opposed. If you think that looks grim, remember, by comparison, Trump's approval rating in February of 2016 was 29% versus 66%.
So this is quite a while back, just to say, but yeah.
Disapproval. There's a little bit of an uphill battle to climb,
David
but remember,
exactly.
secession is not bound to
My
one
peoples
end
come
of
first,
the
exactly,
traditional political spectrum, or to specific racial groups in the way
Worst
that
comes to worst, my
Democrat
peoples come
or
first. Word
Republican
up.
parties are.
Sure.
There are no limits to who can support partition. The ideal solution is, of course, a managed top-down partition. The separatists take control over the federal government and manage the partition from the top down. Some state breakups are violent. The breakup of Yugoslavia was violent, but the breakup of the Soviet Union was not. The breakup of Czech and Slovakia was peaceful. The independence of the United States from Britain, well, that was violent. But the independence of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa from Britain was achieved peacefully.
Canada is still kind of sort of part of Britain. It's still, I mean, as far as I know, South Africa as well. The thing is, he didn't, of course, it's interesting that he didn't mention Rhodesia. I think that's very funny. The thing is, of course, is that South Africa breaking off from the UK, the UK then stabbed both of those countries in the back because they wanted to make themselves look better. So, yeah. Okay. Breakup of the Soviets. Yeah, there was a lot of fights and everything else, yeah.
The Soviet Union violently put down an independence attempt in Germany in 1953, put down one in Hungary in 1956, and one in Czechoslovakia in 1968. But then, a few years later,
he leaves out the one in Poland in 1956 as well. But okay.
From 1989 to 1991, the Soviet Union just didn't stop the Warsaw Pact, the whole of it. And
well, the thing is, a lot of that, you know what, I will agree with some folks that a lot of that was CIA controlled. A lot of that was, it's like the workers movement, the workers' unity group in Poland was completely CIA fed post honeypot type of shit. So yeah, don't give me that.
Various Soviet republics from leaving the Soviet Union. So some say that because the United States went to war to prevent the independence of the southeastern United States over slavery in 1861 means that the current government would go to war to stop separatist factions today. But if the separatists control the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is, like I say, I mean, that alt-hype guy has some good elements, but yeah, he's talking some real shit here. This is... Yeah.
Executive branch anyway, what government would there even be to stop it? Some people would have to move, but 12% of the U.S. population moves every year. Say that for a petition to work, a full 1/3 of the U.S. population would have to move. Probably not, but let's just go with this. If the move orders are spaced out over 11 years, well, then that's only 3% more people moving every year. So 15% of the U.S. population moves instead of 12%. And this would happen over 11 years at the most. And some people, of course, who are already going to move anyway, may just change the location that they're going to move to based on what the new countries are going to be. But frankly, when you decide to break up the U.S. into new countries, lines are drawn so as to minimize how many people have to move in the first place. And the Republican States of America doesn't have to be 100% Republican, and Aztlan doesn't have to be 100% Amerindian. The point is just that these groups are a comfortable majority and control the government over these areas.
Well,
Some
okay.
holdouts certainly
can
remain. And
he's gonna have a better
rules for
vision of this map, but this is some wild shit.
Dealing with holdouts and what they have.
Okay, why would you give a couple ports and have the RSA basically, the Republican States of America surrounding, the new Wakanda? That's
to remain a holdout and what criteria by which to deport them.
New
But
Africa,
none of those specifics
that's what I meant.
Need to be outlined right here. These are just sort of the broad strokes. This is a partition I came up.
And also the thing is that map is going to be much more complicated now because, like I say, the various tribes in eastern Oklahoma will be taking more charge. They will be taking much more autonomy of themselves, and they will have more power in time. The Supreme Court ruling is just the beginning, and eventually, Oklahoma is just going to be taken over by these various native tribes. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying is that I do think that's what's going to happen in time. There are, a lot of these tribes are just going very slowly. They're being very methodical, but they are buying up land, and they are slowly taking things back. But yeah. It is a dumb map. It really is. But yeah, I figure I'd upload this. I figure I'd upload that. Yeah, England just became way too weak to keep his pants up. Yeah, he would. Yeah, read way too much Harold Covington. Well, the thing is that yeah, the Northwest Front would even stretch out to Montana. That's the whole thing. That's what I've heard about what the Northwest Front could have been. But yeah,
up with based on county level data on race and voting. I don't view this partition as some sort of gospel, but this is based on real data. This is not like some other partition proposals you see floating around the internet. I don't have things here like New France or Tidewater. I did another partition proposal based not on county data, but on the spatial distribution of votes. Combined with what I know about the spatial distribution by race in the United States.
I do want to say as a disclaimer here, I don't really, also the Mormons would probably have, Queen's legitimacy is a fraud and Trump knows it, was quite strong enough to fight for itself, a lot of territory. You go to sub-Saharan Africa, you better learn French, exactly.
Came up with another partition that doesn't adhere to any county lines. Some people will look at these and cry about discontinuities, but the United States has a discontinuity with Alaska. That's no problem. Russia has a discontinuity with Kalinin. There has been no problems about that. I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know about this discontinuity with Russia.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is, though, is that Germans have had that memory hold that used to be, what did Kaliningrad used to be? What was the name of it, man? Kaliningrad. What did it used to be called? It's going to bug the hell out of me. Königsberg. That's it. It used to be called Königsberg. I mean, but that's the same thing even with Lvov, Ukraine, or Lviv. Lviv, Ukraine used to be called Lemberg. He was German too. Matthew Bracken writes about Azatlan a lot. He thinks there's going to be a Cuban-American revolution in Texas. Cuban, really? Kalin, the Trotsky lookalike,
And really,
I do want to say though, just as a disclaimer, I don't advocate for what this guy is talking about specifically. I do talk about balkanization, this and that, but I don't think it's going to be as clear as a map as this guy does. But he claims to be a big brain nigga and all this type of thing. I'm not.
All a discontinuity is just an overseas territory in practice. But if really this is so galling to people, those places could become their own countries if you think that would make any real difference. And look, maybe these little snakes I have connecting these liberal Midwestern cities with the Democrat Northeast, maybe this isn't the right solution. Maybe the solution is to give the countries more regular shapes and just make more people move. But if there was a top-down partition of the United States, the new country...
I don't even know why Colorado was there by itself.
If the new countries were to have any relation to reality...
And why does he talk about Lakota and Navajo? It's like Comanches have far more control than you think. Comanches are making money from casinos. And like I say, they are buying up land, for the Comanche Nation. I mean, that's the same thing even, with, I can't think of it, with the other tribes in Oklahoma. So, yeah, this is completely wrong, to say the least, but yeah.
It would look something like these maps here. One obvious concern people have of partition is the economic dislocation it would cause. But there's a way to prevent economic dislocation at the outset, and that is that all countries start out, at least, with total free trade.
Where's the NOI during all this electoral chaos? Yeah, I don't know.
And trade controls will be added later over time on a case-by-case basis as these countries want them. There's no need for companies and supply chains to radically restructure everything all at once. The new countries will also start off with all the laws, all the taxes, and all the regulations of the current United States as the starting point to prevent economic dislocation at the outset. And that is that all countries start out, at least, with total free trade and open borders between them. Border and trade controls will be added later over time on a case-by-case basis as these countries want them. There's no need for companies and supply chains to radically restructure everything all at once. The new countries
He's got a point about this stuff, but yeah, I'm not going to give him that much credit.
All the laws, all the taxes, and all the regulations of the current United States as the starting point of the country. So it's not chaos right out of the gate. Businesses don't have to scramble and deal with a whole new world of laws and regulations on day one, and they don't have to massively hire and fire all sorts of people and open and close departments based on what the new countries are going to be. The reforms that each new republic of the former United States does, it does step by step. There's no need to do it all at once and just pray that you get everything right at the moment of separation. Regarding the military and nuclear weapons, I'm perfectly fine with maintaining a common United States military, where the new countries pay taxes for this military and have some organization with representation for each country for the common military. The specifics of representation and how much each country pays would be something agreed upon as we get closer to actually realizing partition. This is actually done with the European Union, and the European Union actually has 31,000 troops, the European Union Army. Of course, the U.S. military would have 1.5 million active duty personnel, or about 50 times as many people as the European Union Army, although I suspect this would be downsized substantially once the U.S. is broken up. But it's just an application of something that has already been done on a much larger scale. I have no crystal ball. I'm just one guy. And there would certainly be many unforeseen problems in breaking up the United States. But as a movement grows, the closer it gets to realizing its objectives, the more and more experts will come out of the woodwork to assist it. The more and more experts it can draw upon, and then the more specific and the more sophisticated the partition proposal will become, and the more sophisticated the solutions to all these problems will become as the movement gains steam. But right now, it's just me. It's just one guy giving the broad strokes of all of this. And at first glance, when you just think about it in holicis, it seems an impossibly large undertaking. But when you look at each step to a successful breakup of a country, it's all nothing that hasn't been done before. And we wouldn't have to do anything that extreme in each individual instance.
Yeah. A little easier said than done, in my view, but yeah. Yeah, like I say, I think that what he was saying, Will DeMarco, is kind of like he was kind of going in the whole pan-European type of thing that Richard Spencer was on about. I think that's kind of the idea. He was kind of in that sort of mindset, but yeah, that's how I view it. Okay, let's take a look at the continuation of the current government of the U.S. would more accurately be in a small area controlling New York City, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia. Yeah. Okay, last video that we're going to do, Native American chiefs of the various tribes should have sway on who gets to be a candidate in the future, i.e. they should be given the power to vet candidates. Yeah, that'd be an idea. Okay, let's go ahead and do this last video here. This is from PragerU. This is a fireside chat with none other than Dennis Prager himself. Ooh-wee.
And I want you to know exactly the chronology of events. And that means when I am actually making this recording to you of the fireside chat, which comes to you every week with a fire and with a dog. Otto needs no introduction. Otto has reached the level of needs no introduction. Not many dogs can say that. And as you can see, he's very moved by it. So I am talking to you the day after the United States elections. Mm-hmm. As of this moment, there is no declared winner, though it looks like it will be Joe Biden who will be the declared winner. And I am torn over how to approach this because I can't ignore it. Obviously, it's a world event. An American election is a world event. There's no denying.
Yeah. USA is already like EU in civilian life. The advantages of US EU. Yeah. Neocon, exactly. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah. What does he think he is? Yeah, FDR, exactly.
Everyone in the world who follows any news follows American politics, or at least certainly on a national level. So I would like to offer a few thoughts to you at this time. In no order of importance.
This is so staged, isn't it? This is so sad. Look at that. I mean, it's like they have this little counter here, be like, okay, this is how long you have to listen to this bullshit for. It's basically a bullshit meter. Like, yeah, this is how much bullshit I'm going to talk about this subject. This is how much bullshit I'm going to talk about the next subject. Wow, this is awful. Can you not write anything better? Because this is cringe already. Yeah. What's your thoughts on national conservatism? I don't know. The word conservatism has, been so drugged through the mud. It's generally popular in Italy and the Balkans.
And truly spontaneously, because I have not yet come to peace with my own emotions on the issue. I wrote a piece, which I think you should all take a look at. It has now just been put up at Real Clear Politics. Real Clear Politics takes what it considers the best columns, left and right. It is not a political place. It is a...
How much did you pay them?
It takes the best articles.
How much did you pay them?
In its opinion. And it took my piece, which is titled Hatred of Trump versus Hatred of the Left. That in effect, that is what the vote in America was about. And I always make the point.
Okay. Let's stop right there. There are so many other reasons than to think, oh, well, it's just plainly hatred for Trump. Yes. That was a large majority of it, but it's not necessarily a hatred of the left. It's more of a hatred. Well, I'm just going to agree with his basic premise to say that it's hatred for Trump and hatred of the left, but it's also more than that. It's also a move back to respectable politics. It was also a vote for basically making it easier for the left to operate. I don't know what world that is, because obviously that's not going to happen under Joe Biden. But if you want to be foolish, people like Vosh, then go ahead. But yeah. Yeah.
When I talk about the left, I'm not talking about liberals. I'm always asked, what is the difference between liberals and leftists?
Yeah.
So in a nutshell,
Let's hear it.
Just a few examples. You can watch and should watch my PragerU video on the difference between liberalism and leftism, or liberals and leftists, however it's titled. And I have an article on the internet the same. On race.
I have an article on the internet. Golly, boomer. God damn.
For example, liberals believe in racial integration. Leftists believe in racial segregation.
Come on. Even I don't hold to that. I mean, it's like, come on. Leftists, there's a whole range of leftists that exist. I don't think that a lot of leftists want racial segregation. I really don't. Once again, you think that, even with Antifa, you'll see that, yeah, mostly it's white folks. It's just dumb college students or whatever the kid, or even Black Lives Matter. It's like, that's so disingenuous, isn't it? That is so disingenuous, yeah. I do use Twitter. Yeah, I do have Twitter. You know what? Let me go ahead and I'll post my @ right quick here. I think it's yeah. That's my Twitter right there. Yeah, Lenin believed in self-determination. Marx and Stalin believed in centralization of identity. It depends on the individual. Yeah.
Leftists believe in all black dormitories. The Ku Klux Klan believes in all black dormitories.
What? Hold on. That's okay. This is a spicy thing.
Believe in racial segregation.
Really?
Leftists believe in all black dormitories.
Any evidence of that? He's not going to present any. I know. Yeah.
The Ku Klux Klan believes in all black dormitories. Liberals oppose all black dormitories. Liberals believe that we should all be race blind. Leftists believe that race blind is a form of racism. Liberals deeply...
What is he even talking about? This is like that. There's a clip of, having, making peace is a form of white supremacy. It's just like...
believe in capitalism because it is the only way to lift massive numbers of people out of poverty. Leftists have always opposed capitalism. Let's see. The liberals believe, as Lincoln did, that America is the last best hope of mankind.
I don't think that's the case. Once again, I don't even think liberals in the United States think that way. Once again, it's like left soak Dems and liberals. I mean, there are so many other categories that you can find. This is just so disingenuous. Yeah. All dormitories matter. Yeah. KKK believes in blacks being poor. Exactly. It's just, what is this crap? A new conservative age is rising. Yeah. Something. This is gay. Oh.
The left believes that America is an inherently racist, deeply flawed society, and that the West is not any better than any other civilization. Liberals have always been...
Once again, it depends on what leftists you're looking at, but there are some leftists who will say that, yeah, China is doing better than the United States or what, so I don't know about that. Go ahead, sir.
Protectors of the West. Read Franklin Delano Roosevelt's speeches about the need to protect not just Western civilization, but what he called, and this is a liberal Democrat, however, Christian civilization. That's what he did. He said that fighting World War II, which he was the American president during that war, is a war to protect Christian civilization. Can you imagine an American president saying that today? Person would be impeached for offending non-Christians. I'm a non-Christian. I'm not offended at all.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oh, the Fed posting intenses. Oh, boy. I'm not going to say anything. See, the thing is, you know what I remember? They took this channel down a while back, but there used to be this channel where they uploaded clips of this this old school white supremacist guy. And they had a clip of, I think he was on one of these shows, but they had Dennis Prager next to this white nationalist. It was like, it had to be like 1991 or 1992. And I was like, oh yeah, war. Who was that guy? Okay, W-A-R. I'll put it that way. W-A-R. White Aryan Resistance. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying. Tom Metzger. That's his name. Yeah, Tom Metzger. That was the name. I'm not going to show him. Don't worry. Yeah, Tom Metzger. Race and Reason. Yeah. But they had all these clips. And I'm surprised. It was on YouTube for a good long time. I think it got taken down this year, but it's amazing that it lasted this long. And they had Tom Metzger next to, Dennis Prager. And they're arguing about, I think that they were talking about the Jewish Defense League, and they were talking about what was his name? Oh my goodness, I can't think of anyone's name anymore. What is his name? Meir Kahane. That's it. Yeah, Meir Kahane, or Meir Kahana, and they were saying that basically Dennis Prager didn't really care for Meyer Kahana and thought that he was a little bit too much. You know, he was a little too, a little bit too right wing, I guess you could say. But yeah, very funny to say the least. Yeah. Lies about capitalism lifting the planet out of poverty. Yeah. Not that much, Average Joe. Not that much. We're just kind of reviewing. Yeah. So Ant Pavlich was not Christian in Prager-Hughes' eyes. Yeah, apparently not.
I think it was a good thing that Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that. So on race, on capitalism, freedom of speech. Liberals have been the greatest protectors, along with conservatives, of freedom of speech.
Really? And yet they didn't protect Alex Jones, did they? They didn't protect Jason Unruh, did they? They didn't protect any of them.
The left has always suppressed freedom of speech. There is no example in history of the left having power anywhere and not suppressing free speech.
That is interesting. You mean all the times that the German Democrat, and like I said, the GDR was not perfect, but the times where they had actors and actresses who said, we need to tear down this wall, or that, that never happened, apparently. The fact that they had, Jane Fonda going into Vietnam, North Vietnam, being on that anti-aircraft gun, that never happened. Maybe I'm just, being disingenuous, but that sounds, yeah. Yeah, let me see here. Lies about capitalism lifting the planet out of poverty. Yeah, exactly. That's why they banned people protesting World War I, threw liberals in jail because they thought they weren't communists. Yeah. Yep.
It was true with Vladimir Lenin in the Russian Revolution in 1917. It is true on the American campus today. It is true on Twitter. Yeah, it is true wherever the left gains power. So
imagine thinking that Twitter is leftist. Imagine thinking that Jack Dorsey is a leftist in anybody's eye.
The irony is, as I look at the American election, liberals do not vote their values. I don't know of any example like this really in the history of democracies where people don't vote their values. Liberals vote left. But liberalism is much closer to conservatives than it is to leftism.
That's the one true point. Once again, conservatism is just classic liberalism. Yes, so he is correct on that.
But liberals are weak or naive and don't understand or don't want to fight the left, which is the biggest battle there is. Anyway, read my column. And it will explain a lot of the American election. Now, one other thing. We have an election day. It's the first Tuesday in November in America.
That's hilarious, yeah. There are a lot of MAGA tards that will eat this up, yeah. Didn't Allende allow opposition tags to continue to spew nonsense? I'm sure they did. I have no idea.
America. That's our election day. Until very recently, that was it. You voted on election day. Then they allowed absentee ballots. So people who knew they would not be voting or could not be there to vote physically on election day, or incapacitated and they couldn't get to a polling booth, they would request a ballot. And they would have an absentee ballot, which had to be postmarked prior or arrive prior, either one, whichever the state passed, and be counted as a vote. Now you can vote in many states 6 weeks before Election Day, rendering Election Day a meaningless term, right? If you can vote in September and Election Day is November 3rd, it's absurd. It's not Election Day any longer. It's election month or election season.
This is like the old boomer of like, why are people putting Christmas trees up in October? Why are they, because that's marketing. That's capitalism, you dumb fuck. It's like that. That's why they do it. It's the same thing. Once again, I think leftists may have a point where it's just like, why don't they just make the election day a free holiday, make it a holiday? And then you don't have to have all this, early voting and all that other hubbub. But of course, he would probably be against that. So this is just such a retarded, this is just such a boomer argument. It's just like, well, election day doesn't mean anything because you get to vote early. It's because people don't have time to get time off. So they try to take some time and they get, I'm sorry. It's Prager. Yep. We are talking about PragerU. Oh, Lord have mercy.
But it's not election day. And then the worst, the sending out of tens of millions of ballots to people who never requested them. A friend of mine, his 2 daughters got ballots in California, but 8 years ago, they moved to Texas. They got 2 ballots in Texas too. Do you think anybody would ever catch them if they voted both in California and Texas? No one.
The thing is that I will just say this, is that my parents and I moved to Texas as well from Washington State. And the state of Washington, Pierce County, still sends us. And we moved here in 1995. They still send us ballots. They still send us mail-in ballots for Pierce County. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I can agree with that to a point, but it's like, okay, then what's your answer to it? Once again, the answer is going to be the state stepping in, and they're going to make sweeping regulation, which I'm sure that people like you would be against.
How could there not be? Forget deliberate fraud. I'm not even talking about that. How could there not be a massive amount of nonsense when you send...
Styx is not worth... I mean, I could respond to Styx videos, but he's just so cringe. And he just owns himself. I mean, Styx is this pitiful pagan who's just like, well, the left is censoring this and that, hey, everybody. No. He owns himself by showing his bare chest, looking like an absolute virgin, even though he's married to some Dutch chick who I'm sure, I don't even know the details of that, but yeah. Yeah. Yep. But false gods, you know what? I like to torch, I'm a glutton for punishment. I can't speak for y'all, but I am.
Out ballots to people. What if they died in the meantime or moved in the meantime to another state as this man's daughters, or will register to vote at a poll and then send in their ballot as well? How do you know that they didn't do that? Is every ballot checked? In any event, whatever the case, it invites results that will not be trusted by at least half the American people. And that's not healthy. So,
golly, he's reading from a fucking script. Look at his eye motion.
If you believe, as I do, that leftism has ruined everything it touches, I mean everything.
Okay, what is it? Okay, you got to name what you mean by leftism. Do you mean the DSA? Do you mean the PSL? What do you refer to? Okay, sorry for the cat. Let me see if I can let the cat out here. Apparently the cat's kind of getting wild. Give me a moment, folks. Hello. You want to go out? Okay, come on. Come on. You want to go out? Come on, Jojo. Come on, Joe. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on, Jojo. There you go. Okay. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. What does he mean by the left? Yeah. Fergie and Styx are part of Glass's gang. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Styx has been at least half right over the last year. Some super cringe debates watching E. Michael Jones telling him porn should just be illegal was kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah, the kitty was trolling the stream a little bit. Yeah, he was.
The latest is sports and science. But before that, every institution, the university, the high school, the elementary school, music, art, architecture.
Notice, though, like I say, in his description of liberals, does he describe anybody specifically as a liberal, apart from FDR, apparently? No. Does he describe anyone who he considers a leftist other than Lenin? No.
Night television. The NFL, the NBA, that's the National Football League.
Oh, this is pitiful boomer stuff. Once again, all those NBA players saying some stuff. How dare those NBA players actually have a voice in politics and whatnot? They should just shut their mouths and be glad they get millions of dollars.
National Basketball Association, Major League Baseball. Whatever it touches, it ruins. It's a force of chaos. It's a tsunami of destruction. And yet there is a generation that...
Imagine thinking that the left destroyed the NBA. That is hilarious. Or destroyed the NFL, destroyed, this guy, like I say, this is where Wignats, super boomer Wignats that really don't understand, but it's they will say things like, the Frankfurt School destroyed the colleges, bro. It's like, no, no.
Has grown up now in America. I'm not talking about 20-year-olds. I'm talking about my generation. Grew up after World War II and was not taught about the horrors of communism, only the horrors of Nazism.
Oh boy. Well, I thought the Nazis were leftists, according to people like you. So that's the same thing.
And so they don't know how terrible it is. They don't know how bigger and bigger government means less and less liberty for people. And they don't value freedom. People don't. I just read a poll that 3/4 of Americans, I don't know if it's true, 3/4 of Americans support a lockdown because of COVID-19.
Well, come on now. Once again, even I have to agree. 240,000 people dead, regardless of how you want to measure it or if they died from the flu or what. Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves, can we?
If that's true, it's truly a different America than the one I grew up in. I remind you that in 1968-69, there was a terrible virus in America called the Hong Kong flu. It killed...
Oh, boy. This is literally a Donald Trump talking point. Here we go.
100,000 Americans.
You're talking about the bird flu. You're talking about the avian bird flu, right? HBN1, I think, or something like that. Bro, that was nothing, though, compared to this whole business. I mean, look, I'm not... Like I said, once again, this is just you wanting to shit on China.
And that's equivalent to 165,000 today, not so far from what has already been killed in America. 165,000 Americans in 2020 terms. Nothing was
Golden
locked
one
down.
a while ago, too.
Not one office.
That's true.
Not one movie theater. Nothing. That's when the famous Woodstock celebration took place. Not so far from what has already been killed in America. 165,000 Americans in 2020 terms. Nothing was locked down. Not one office. Not one movie theater.
Oh, please. The difference was that it's hit worldwide, allegedly, this and that. I mean, look, you can say what you want to and say it's a hoax, this and that, but it's like, bro, come on, man.
Nothing. That's when the famous Woodstock celebration took place. Not only was there no social distancing, the whole purpose of Woodstock was to have no social distance between you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever friend you met at Woodstock.
Which Woodstock was this? That's what I'm saying. I mean, this is one of the cringe Woodstocks. That's not the original Woodstock.
Why is that? Why was America so different then? Because it understood there was a much more realistic view of life. Viruses come, people die. It is a tragedy. Let us save all we can. But you
but
cannot stop life because there is a virus. You cannot do that.
Bruh. Yeah, things stay the same forever. Yeah, I don't know dialectics or evolution. Yeah. A lot of old people dying where I'm at. Yeah, exactly. I love that. People die. So what? but life has to go on. We have to keep making money. It's like, I wish he'd just be honest and be like, I just want to make money. You know?
Every leader in the world except Sweden's leaders has done that. This is not even political, what I'm saying. Conservative leaders, like in Britain and in Israel and in India, they did.
Oh. It just happens to be, seems all kind of a Zionist little tripartite there. Go ahead.
The lockdowns as well.
Gives himself away, doesn't he? Just happens to be, you know, you got good old Johnson there, Mr. Oh yes, you know, the women look like a post box, you know, yeah, they look like a post box, and then you have, you know, Israel, of course, with Netanyahu, and then you got Modi. It's almost like it's all the countries that are, you know, that support Zionism right now. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
You know why? They're all afraid to
See you
be
later,
a
Red
leader
Dindonian. Yep.
under whom there has been any death. They are afraid of what the media will say. They are afraid of what history will say under this prime minister or this president. Look at how many people died on their watch, which is what was obviously said about President Trump. I'm not exactly certain what he could have done to have stopped it. Do they blame the Belgian prime minister for the deaths? Belgium has more deaths per million than America.
What does that have to do with anything?
The Belgian prime minister?
The thing is, once again, you can't really compare Belgium. You know what? Let me go ahead and look at the stats for Belgium right quick. Okay, a country not even of 12 million. Comparing that to a country of about 350 million, close to 400 million, it's not really comparable, you know?
They're blamed for the deaths in Belgium? I doubt it. Spain as well. But anyway,
yeah, you mentioned Spain, obviously, because Spain is still a huge bastion of Catholicism. But yeah,
people have bought it. And I can't believe that my fellow Americans would so easily give up liberty and the ability of...
Liberty means making money. Let's be honest with you, okay? Can you just be honest with us and mean that, you know, liberty means making money and being able for companies to make profit, and stop saying this business like, oh, well, come on.
People to support themselves and bankrupt so many...
Republicans versus Democrats is a dialect between whether Woodstock was a bad trip or not. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely, blood for the sake of the market. It absolutely is, yeah. All our politics have been based on this, since that point. It really has.
Business owners and so many people who have a salary. A man called my radio show today, just as an example. Man has not earned a penny in the last 7 months. You know why? He's a wedding photographer. That's it.
Well, the thing is, what you would probably say is, well, he should have adapted to the market. You know? The thing is, this guy's a wedding photographer. Well, the thing is that he can still do wedding photos. People are still getting married. So I think that there's other underlying issues. Then, you know, he could do photography for plenty of other things. He could do landscape photos. He could do whatever the... Golly, you got me sounding like a libertarian now, but it's so pitiful. You don't give a shit about that guy. You're using him as a talking point. You don't give a... Oh, it makes me mad. You don't give a shit about that guy at all. You're just using him.
There would be a lot more weddings if the government didn't suppress them. So you'll say, well, some people might get COVID. And I say, that's correct. And if you're afraid of getting COVID...
That's... Wow. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Let's make sure I hear this right.
People who have a salary. A man called my radio show today, just as an example. Man has not earned a penny in the last 7 months. You know why? He's a wedding photographer. That's it. There would be a lot more weddings if the government didn't suppress them.
Oh, give me a break. Give me a break.
You'll say, well, some people might get COVID. And I say, that's correct. And if you're afraid of getting COVID and think you'll die, unless you are over 80 or you have some
He's making excuses. Here we go.
morbidity condition, you know what the odds are? If I think it's either under 60 or under 70. Do you know how many, the percentage of people who die from COVID? It is
that becomes a pre-existing condition. If you have COVID-19 and you survive, that is a pre-existing condition. And so that's going to make your health insurance go up. You're going to have problems breathing. You know, part of your lung may not work correctly. Come on, man. Bro, what are you even saying right now?
fraction of 1%, a small fraction of 1%. If you're under 30, you're more likely to die in a car crash than from COVID. Why can't they?
Yeah. Prager, boomer side. Yeah, they'll lose all viewers. Exactly. Oh, God.
They go to a wedding, and this guy make a living photographing it. This is this is a terrible time in American and world history. I was
look at that. He goes right back, doesn't he? It's like, but it's a terrible time, though. But if you catch COVID, who cares? Golly, what a jackass.
A program with yesterday, Patrick Ben-David does a great show. He's a very interesting and deep man. And he had
we know Patrick Bet-David. He is an Iranian. He has this channel on YouTube called Valuetainment. He's one of the leading libertarian thinkers. This guy, does a whole lot of libertarian shit. I'm not even going to recommend him, but you can find him pretty easily. He has a channel called Valuetainment. He tries to dab on, socialism and all this. It's just, it's stupid.
But people with him, he has a very widely listened to or viewed podcast. And I was his guest for an hour. And he had these other guests who were, a number of whom were liberal, and they kept drilling me with questions. And they said, well, what about you and a mask? Do you wear a mask? And I said, well, I spoke at a rally this past weekend in Beverly Hills, California. And
Stop right there. Stop right there. It's already going to be cringe.
I must have taken a photo with 50 people. I put my arm around them and they put their arm around me, 50 strangers. I must have hugged 50.
That is anecdotal. That is absolutely anecdotal. Even I have to say, I'm sounding like Vaj at this point, but it's absolutely anecdotal what you are saying right now.
Strangers, shaking hands with 50 strangers, no masks. And I'll tell you why, I said. Because I don't believe that the purpose of life is to live. I think that the purpose of life is to live fully.
That is such an awful quote.
You know whose purpose of life it is to live? Animals. Good old Otto here. All he wants to do is live. He doesn't think of living fully because that's not his task. He's an animal.
That sounds kind of like a bit more of an Untermensch type of thing, doesn't it? It sounds kind of Wignanish, doesn't it?
Animal. He's got it easy in that way. I want to live fully. Of course I want to live long. I love life. I'm crazy about it, and I enjoy it. And I love my family and my friends and my work and my grandchildren and my children. I mean, I've got a great life. But my only consideration is not, will I live longer? It's, will I live fully? That's why I have been with friends every single week since the virus began. There's been no week that I've not been with friends, that I've not had people in my house or visited others at their house. I read the likelihood of dying from this disease. I used my faculty of reason. I'm not an afraid human being to begin with, and I have lived life. There are people who've not left their house. There are people who've not allowed their children to play with other children for more than half a year. That is child abuse.
Yeah, Nas Lolgang. Yeah, exactly. Nas Lolbert Prager. Yeah. Maybe vegans are right after all. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty bad.
That's right. That is pure, unadulterated child abuse.
Having kids not play with each other is child abuse. That is a slap in the face. That is a slap in the face. I mean, I don't know anybody. Oh my God. Oof. This is what happens when you go mask off, isn't it? Literally mask off, and you just start, holy shit. And it's like, once again, you can get, you know, people like, you know, all the Wignat channels getting taken down off YouTube that were showing like Die Deutsche Wochenschau, all the German newsreel stuff from World War II was taken down. And yet this jackass remains on. Holy shit.
And Americans seem to have elected a man who is for a national lockdown. That, well, he will do it or not. I don't even know if he has the capacity to do it. Well, at least I'm offering you what I hope is some clarity on the differences. Even if you differ with everything I've said, which is fine, at least we have clarity on where we differ. I don't live scared. It is a great way to live.
Oh boy. This is kind of like, I can tell, my man, I doubt that you have ever done extreme sports in your life. So it's like, I don't live scared. There are plenty of things your fat ass would not do. All right. And I'm kind of chunky myself, so I can say that. But it's like, man, bro, what are you talking about? I live fully.
I commend it to everyone. Okay. Let's get our first question, a video question.
Hi, Dennis. My name is Isabela Valbuena. I am 17 years old, and I currently reside in the Dominican Republic. My question for you is, as we have seen, Kamala Harris has recently published a video seemingly pushing for a Marxist agenda. How do we fight this compassionate narrative that will ultimately lead to tyranny, as we have seen throughout history?
Elise Jones called out the trilateral commission. Yeah. Well, the thing is, Alex Jones is an actor. Yeah. Thought Prager, you supported Trump's LARP on isolationism. Why is he crying about more lockdowns? Yeah. You can't be a capitalist and isolationist at the same time. Yeah. He lived fully on the blood of the third world. Yeah. He did.
Thank you and have a nice day.
Isabella, how do you speak English so well? That is really impressive.
Probably because she's from the United States and she's not actually in the Dominican Republic.
I was in the Dominican Republic, and I enjoyed it immensely. And I'm trying to get back to my place, and I'm not having an easy time. And
I guarantee he's never. Yeah. I went to the Dominican Republic, but I never went to Haiti.
The famous arm has entered our video. I have considered renaming the fireside chat. Welcome to Megan's Arm.
God damn. Okay, I'm skipping past this bullshit.
I have Saline, Texas. Why can't racism be outlawed by legislation or executive order?
Why can't racism be illegal? They have tried to make it illegal. He probably stayed in a 5-star hotel in the Har community offshore. Exactly, yep. Yeah, not only on PragerU, but channel shilling for Rothbard, yeah.
Such as terrorism, sexism, or fascism. Well, let's go through this. I don't know any law against fascism, to be honest. I don't know. Is there a law? I don't think there is.
Oh,
There's no law against communism. We don't have laws against isms in America. We don't regarding sexism. Yes, you cannot discriminate on the basis of sex. So in fact, we have the same thing with racism. You cannot discriminate on the basis of race. We have outlawed racism. So I'm not sure what your question is.
oh, that's hilarious. ID poll doesn't exist. We've already outlawed racism. Oh, that's funny. I got a good chuckle out of that.
It means hate speech, but we don't have any other form of hate speech banned.
You've never been, once again, the minute you say the N-word on this thing, bro, you will lose your whole channel, and they will declare you a racist, and you will be tarred and feathered, figuratively speaking. But yeah, give me a break. Oh yeah, hate speech laws. Oh, I've never heard of those. Did you know the creators of South Park used to be connected to PragerU? Oh, really? Yeah, I heard they were libertarian. Yeah, there's an episode with Token getting hit by a rock where he said hate crimes, where hate crime doesn't exist. Holy shit, yeah. That's Lowbirds for you.
And we shouldn't. Otherwise, we don't have free speech because everybody will consider what they differ with hate speech. Why isn't it hate speech when leftists say that all whites are racist? Why is that not hate speech? That's as pure hate speech as exists. An entire group is slandered. Remarkable. Everyone should be prosecuted. Every single one. Some should be jailed.
They have been.
But they're never followed. Of course, they send anonymous emails or they do it anonymously on Twitter. We should use the power of forensics and find who these people are.
Oh, boy. Yep. There's your authoritarianism. I thought you were a libertarian where you wanted limited government, except when it comes to hate speech, apparently. Well, and other things as well, but, also getting a nice big fat paycheck when your company goes under and you want to get the government to bail you out.
I don't care if you're doing it to a leftist or to a rightist. You cannot make a death threat. 99.99999, if not 100% of them are nothing. I received death threats. I slept very well that night. Okay? People who want to kill you don't send you a letter in advance. That's just the way it works. But it is disconcerting to receive them, and nobody should receive them. And yet people write them. That's real speech.
Exactly.
That should be banned. That's threatening violence. That's different.
Okay,
Stop
please.
Violence from the officials came after your firearms. Let me just put this very clearly. America allows people to own arms because it doesn't trust governmental power and it trusts people to defend themselves. Now that we know that cities run by progressives, like Seattle, like San Francisco.
Once again, what are progressives? What are progressives? They're not liberal, but they're not leftist. So what are they? He keeps using these words and he doesn't want to describe them. It's like, well, progressives run Seattle. Yeah, people like Mayor Durkin, they are neoliberals. That's what they are. But of course, you just want to say they're progressives. He's using a lot of different terms, and he doesn't want to describe them.
Like Los Angeles, like Washington, D.C., like Chicago, Philadelphia. These people will not stop violence from the left. They watch it. They do nothing against it. Therefore, this has been the largest sales of guns in American history this past year. The only reason is that vast numbers of Americans do not believe that where there is a progressive mayor, so-called progressive, progressive mayor or progressive governor, that violent people will be stopped. That's it. So therefore, people want to be able to stop them on their own. I don't want to incapacitate people's ability to defend themselves and their loved ones. So it is a compulsory buyback, which is the same thing as confiscation, correct? It's just you're getting some money for what is confiscated. will not work in the United States of America, and it would be the beginning of violent confrontations between authorities and Americans. I pray that never happens, but that's what would happen. There is no tyranny in the last 100 years.
Their opposition. Exactly.
The first thing it didn't do was take away people's guns. The Nazis did that first thing.
Once again, I have to be a Wignet here. The Nazis did not get rid of guns. All right, let's try to be fair about this here. Okay, the thing is, the Nazis took guns away from some things, but gun clubs still existed, and also they encouraged, the SA to go out and shoot. They had the Hitler Youth go out and shoot, and test their Mauser Carabiner 98Ks. I'll just say K98K. And of course, then you have, the Volkssturm. Oh, yeah, they banned guns for civilians. No, they didn't. Just no. Even I have to say, that's not even true. Nazis didn't ban firearms for ordinary civilians. They didn't. They just didn't allow them to have the good stuff, basically. And then at the very end of the war, they gave them all the shit arms and basically said, go for, do what you can, You're seeing guys armed with old Lewis guns in 1945. Imagine that. You're some accountant or something like that, and you're given a Lewis gun and said, yeah, we don't have much ammo for this, but good luck to you. Imagine that. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, gun control is a rather recent thing. Exactly. They banned guns for Jews. That's true. That is true.
Communists did that first thing, and in a free society, people should be able.
The thing is, hold on. Once again, with the Soviet Union, as far as I know, Soviet Union and other socialistic type countries, I believe that you were allowed a pistol or a shotgun. So this idea, once again, that banning guns, that didn't really happen. Once again, Marx, we had to pull out the Marx quote, don't we? Let's go ahead and put up the Marx quote right quick here. Let me see here. Marx on guns. Okay, so let's find the quote here. Let's find the quote. Under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force if necessary. There you go. Yep, there's no reason why on the street today a citizen should be carrying loaded weapons. Ronald Reagan, yep. Thing is, once again, I will agree, and I'll take more of a leftist take on this. Gun control comes from the South. It comes from Southerners, from white Southerners wanting to disarm black folks. Same thing with Ronald Reagan wanting to take guns away from the Black Panthers. That's where gun control comes from. Gun control comes from the Republicans and comes from your Dixiecrats. That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from communism. It doesn't come from Nazism. It comes from other folks who wanted to have their own firearms, but didn't want their enemies to have them. That's where gun control comes from. Even I have to say, i.e. landowners, yeah. Soviet Union only disarmed their class enemies, yep. Yeah, the kulaks and all that, yeah. That's not a good quote. Marx doesn't support guns fully. Had AKs outside City Hall. Is there another quote, Cornholio fan? He supports guns for most people, but advocated for taking guns away from private militias and landowners. Okay, well, fair enough. Well, the thing is, we have to be careful about private militias because obviously there's people's militias, which is what Lenin kind of talked about, the militia of peasants and workers. But yeah, I understand what you're saying with that. But I think that once... Okay. I think more that's referring, it's like Lenin said, we're going to smash the military and police into atoms. So yeah, I mean, that's my take, but yeah. But yeah, you're correct on that, Cornholio fan.
to defend themselves. Gigi, Xizhi, so I guess it's Shiji. That's right, Shiji. 24, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Hi, Dennis. I'm an American citizen for a year, and because how crazy this year was, I started to read Bible. If I can't be a faithful person, I can still learn from this amazing book, perhaps the greatest book, period. Here's an issue that bugs me tremendously. Coming from a secular background from China, East Asian culture, I started to see how people worship beauty and become morally corrupt. That in some way, it reminds me of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. But I also find myself to be a hypocrite since I realize that's how I saw women too. I become really...
Okay, I don't really care about that. Okay.
I think I'll do that. Where if you said to a woman, listen, I got two guys. One is a male model, and the other guy is
I'll take your word for it,
does really well financially. Which would you like to date? Overwhelmingly, the woman would say the guy who is doing really well financially. Where there are very, very few
I don't really care about this, but yeah.
against truth at the university. He's sleeping.
Yeah, so
see,
I don't really care about that, but yeah, the whole proletariat must be armed at once with muskets, rifles. Okay, I've heard this bit, yeah. And the revival of old-style citizens militia directed against the workers must be opposed. The revival of the old-style citizens militia directed against the workers must be opposed. Well, yeah, like I say, though, I mean, we're just kind of splitting hairs here. Yeah, did you hear about the Arkansas state election? What about the Arkansas state election? Let's take a look. What happened with the Arkansas state election? Let's see here. What happened? Democrats didn't run. Oh, not at all, really. Didn't run at all. Wow. Well, hold on. What we got here? Is this just the Kanye West? Kanye West got 4,000 votes. That's hilarious. That's hilarious that Arkansas had 4,000 and nearly 4,100 people that voted for Kanye. That's hilarious. Really? Well, there you go. Huh. Oh, state Senate election. Okay, yeah. Marx didn't support guns just for the sake of it. He advocated for taking guns away from his enemies. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's no different than anything else. Like I say, I mean, Lenin just said openly that he wanted to smash the military and police into atoms. So yeah, I mean, yeah, he'd attack all the libertarians. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, okay. I think I covered what I wanted to cover here. Oh boy, Dinesh D'Souza. Let's go ahead and see what does Dinesh D'Souza have to say. Let's go ahead and finish up with this.
So I have a message for the Democrats and for the left on this. We're really
Democrats and the left. Is there a difference?
Not going to take your advice and move on. I know you want us to accept the results.
See, I know that I've used leftist kind of interchangeably, but I've tried to at least identify that it means Marxist-Leninist or, Marxist-Leninist Maoist or anarchist or something. I've tried to at least define what leftist is. At least that's my defense anyway. Of course, people may say, oh, you used to promote some stuff that sounded kind of like Republican stuff. I don't know. You can say that, but yeah. Are Russians today still taught how to disassemble and reassemble guns? I think they are, yeah. I think they are, Will DeMarco. Arkansas is a bunch of Walmart surf plantations, and they always vote for more private influence. Yeah.
Result, accept that Biden won, move on, let the country heal, blah, blah, blah. And I want to explain why we're not remotely about to do that. First of all, this is not a case where there seems to be episodic evidence of irregularity or cheating, but rather systematic cheating. And I recognize that coronavirus created the opportunity, but that doesn't make any more of an excuse. The systematic cheating is operated kind of in 3 steps. First, flood the country with mail-in ballots. Just send them out there.
Yep.
By the truckload, so to speak. Number 2, I noticed that in Democratic-controlled administrative areas, there's a kind of blockade. There has been an attempt to shut out close Republican observation of these ballots. And this prevents any kind of reliable checking to make sure that ballots are legal and that fraudulent ballots don't make their way through. We know that in cases where we're talking about dubious ballots with signatures that don't match and so on, the Democrats have literally fought for the right for those ballots to count, even though they may not be the signature or at least a similar signature to the guy who is supposed to be casting the ballot. And number 3, a declaration that there is no evidence of voter fraud, even though the system is set up in such a way that such evidence would be prevented from coming to light. In other words, the fraudulent ballots get lumped in with
Had this
good
built up to
ballots,
by
and it
2024.
becomes
Yeah, it's going to be,
very
yeah.
difficult to separate them out unless you go through the whole
He
process.
piped and Coulter? Oh, really?
One.
Really? Huh.
The Democrats here are operating pretty much in the same vein as they do on the issue of illegal aliens. Notice that even there, they conflate the difference between a legal immigrant and an illegal immigrant. And then if you criticize illegal immigration, they go, wait a minute, you're against immigrants. And similarly here, they conflate the idea of counting legal votes with counting illegal votes. And then if you raise any protest against the illegal votes, they go, you're against counting the vote. So clearly their notion of counting the vote includes fraudulent and illegal ballots, or so it would seem. Now, finally, a word about healing and moving on. Look,
I probably will agree with this, Matt. I don't really give a shit about whatever bullshit he said 3 minutes beforehand, but let's see if he actually makes some sense here.
you can accept defeat. I can accept defeat. You can accept defeat if you know there was a fair fight and you lost. You got knocked out in the fight. You came in sixth in the race. But you did notice that everybody started on the same line. And then a gun went off, a clock went on, and the first guy deserves the gold medal. It is incumbent upon the people who organize the race to show that the race is fair. It's not enough for the winning side to go, oh yeah, the race is obviously fair. If you want healing to occur, then the people who organize the race have to demonstrate its fairness, have to convince the people on the losing side. In other words, the people who are being asked to accept the outcome must have a reasonable assurance that they are not being cheated. You can heal from a defeat, which is part of maturity to learn to accept. But healing from being cheated is a whole other matter because there's no reason to believe that cheating will ever stop. So that's why we aren't moving on. We're pushing full speed ahead. We're trying to take this in its widest implications, and we will respond accordingly.
Okay. We're going to watch this other one. This is just sad, isn't it? I thought it's like, you wonder about some of these folks. It's like, I thought he was married to like a hot Latina woman. And it's like, why are you in looks like some dingy hotel room? I don't get that, bro.
I see that the stock market does not seem to be all too phased by the...
It's the same thing with people like E. American Johnson. It's like suddenly he's there, just walking around, I think, Ho Chi Minh City or whatever. It's like, okay, bro, I thought you were in Da Nang. What are you talking, You always wonder about these folks, like, how broke are these dudes, Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay, go ahead.
The idea of a Biden presidency, and I've
only when the left does it. Yeah, I cheated on my
talking to some business guys who say, "Oh no, we're not that phased by it because we like divided government." The reason is that under divided government, nothing gets done, and that's good for the market. We can then plan, and government will stay out of our way. Now, this viewpoint, I think, although correct in a literal sense, is unhistorical, naive, and has no sense of what the left has in mind for these guys. First of all, it's based upon the model of the 80s and the 90s, in which divided government did in fact work in this way under Reagan and then also under Clinton. But we're not living in that era anymore. And the left is going to do all it can to break the resolve of the Republican Senate. They know that there are some wavering members. We can name 2 or 3 off the top of our heads. And their idea will be to subject those people to a merciless press browbeating unceasingly to make them buckle and give in to democratic legislative and policy priorities. And long term, their goal is to control all the branches of government. And that means that if they're able to rig the election this time, they will surely do it the next time.
Can we watch some Vosh? Yeah, we could watch a little Vosh.
And then the Senate is not going to hold. Because once election rigging becomes systematic in this country, we're basically done. We don't have a democracy. We really don't have a country. And the very idea
we don't need a democracy and we don't need a country.
That business is going to feel safe in that environment, I think, reflects profound stupidity, naivete, to put it in a nice way. So I'd like to send a message to the business community that the left, if it had its way, will destroy you. They will destroy your business. They will destroy your wealth. They will vaporize your net worth. They will destroy your standard of living. And so cut out the idle bromides. You're smart in one thing, which is business, but try to get smart about other things also. This is the underlying infrastructure that makes your business and your success possible. Remember, it's not enough to protect your business. You also have to protect the environment, the free market structure in which your business
He's literally just sucking cock right now, isn't he?
thrive.
Okay. That's hilarious, so. Okay. I guess we'll watch this one. Just see how bad it is.
Hello.
Hello.
Yep, shoe on head. You know, who cares? Basically, just a loser broad who just, yeah. We don't need the country. Oh, we need this country. No, just not this country. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey. How you doing?
Hey. Good. I've been watching the stream pretty much all day.
Yeah.
I think you're overdosing on hopium personally, but I respect it.
Our odds for the presidency are very good right now. It's mostly the hopium is with the Senate. The Senate is where I am, admittedly, being potentially optimistic.
You already lost that, buddy. But go ahead.
You know, but the presidency feels relatively the odds of Nevada going red are just so unbelievably unlikely to me. But I mean, I guess anything's possible. I wanted to ask you something. Maybe like you can help maybe potentially with this.
Okay, go for it.
How do you think we should best upset and antagonize MAGA hats?
Oh God.
We don't care. Yeah, she is bald. Yeah. Yeah, we know.
When the election is done. Assuming Biden wins, what can we do? I won't publish this if Biden loses, okay? We can pretend this never happened.
Okay.
The vote is still out, buddy.
So assuming
Biden
wins, which I still don't think he is. I'm pessimistic. I think we just quietly collect, screen caps, quietly collect videos, make a big ass compilation.
Are you living in 2015 again? What you're just going to do the same thing that, it's like feminist own compilation 4 or something like that. So it's like you're going to do the same thing that they did. You can't even think for yourself, can you?
Just call it triggered MAGAs or something like that.
So the classic turnaround, essentially. Like
yeah,
we
and
want to
just-
reflect 2016
It's
back.
revenge. Just revenge. Just pure revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll bring more people over to the left, won't it?
But at the same time, like, I don't want to get too cocky. It's because, like, I don't like Biden. Like, Biden could be just a shitty president. And it's like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, like, brag too hard. But yeah, but it would be funny to see some meltdowns for sure. I already see some. I see lots of coping in my mentions. Last night was, like, legitimately scary when he was like,
She blocked so many people.
oh, you know, we're gonna stop counting the votes. It was like some
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
dystopian movie, like happening in real time.
The main problem is that Trump is a fucking pussy. He talks a really big game, but he's not capable of or willing to really take that leap and do something like sending in federal officers to shut down polling stations. If he did that, it would be immediate, like, fucking DEFCON 1 constitutional crisis, but he's not. What he's doing right now is the same shit they did to Florida in 2000, where they're hoping that they can manufacture like a public uprising that'll discourage the votes from being counted. They did that in Florida. There was this Republican-led riot in Florida back in 2000 that it turns out was completely orchestrated by the Republican Party, and it worked in moving public opinion away from the potential.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's the Lewis, or the not Lewis, the Brooks Brother riot or something like that, where they came in and started. But there's also the hanging Chad joke as well, and everything. There are plenty of memes from that time of the 2000 election as well, that Florida doesn't know who they're voting for and all this sort of thing. So it's like,
for a recount.
There's already videos. I was sending it to you in the chat, but there's a video of people like outside and they're.
What we got here? Jaden Animations and Shu are the same person. They're both bi. They both have black. Yeah, Libtard's own compilation number 570. Yeah, Ben Shapiro nukes brown people. Is this way cooler than Magapede Q-Tard Freakout? Yeah, exactly. Shuid and Jaden Animations are the same person, both bi. They both have black hair. They both sound like it's confirmed. I think it's confirmed. Yeah, there you go. Solved.
It's like, stop the votes. Stop the votes.
Yeah, they're what they call
Horrifying.
poll enforcers, or what are they called?
Yes,
yeah.
poll enforcers.
Not a thing, by the way. That's not actually a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I might have been overreacting last night, but I was just like, oh my god, like this is some dictator shit. Like what the fuck? And
Well, it is
I already
dictatorship. It is absolutely
yeah, it's
dictatorship.
dictators
Yeah.
speak. Yeah.
These are some of the two leading political YouTubers. This is the level of discourse we have. This is the level of discourse we have, folks.
Yeah, I was freaking out, but there were so many people, like so many right wingers who were like quote tweeting my tweets and were like, "We wish Mussolini moment." Like I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" There were so many of them, like actually so excited for
Well,
Trump to actually.
The
be a
frustrating
dictator.
thing is that we need to be vigilant anyway, because Trump could do that if we were not, if we lack conviction. If we just go like, oh, whatever, we win, okay, whatever, yeah, Trump, dictator Trump, then he could very well send federal officers to polling locations. He could very well do all of these overtly authoritarian things that he's been signaling that he wants to do. It's only through our vigilance that there's even a chance of keeping
Vigilance. What vigilance are you talking about?
from doing these things, you know?
He has alienated so many people IRL. What sort of leftist group is going to come out and stop federal agents from coming into a polling place? Nothing.
He's his fan base, his like cult, this giant cult of personality is actually like honestly scarier than he is. Like he could rile them up to just go nuts.
Base Mussolini
And
moment.
he wouldn't
Yeah.
have to do anything. Yeah, but in my mentions, all these very
What do I think will cause a collapse? Shit, at this point, it could be anything. It could be anything.
Familiar people coping very hard this morning.
It's gonna be delicious.
It's
but the thing for me is like I don't want to make fun of like a poor Appalachian fucking coal miner.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Or like some like former Rust Belt factory worker who's just desperate to bring jobs back from China. There are Trump voters who I don't like want to rub anything in.
Yes, you do. You have nothing but contempt for them. Don't give me that.
But the online political commentators are very clearly motivated by contempt for us.
Yeah, especially the ones that don't even live here. Like most of the ones that are coping hard in my mentions are not from America, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, why
fuck
do you
off,
want Trump
man.
to win?
Yeah.
They're only like reason they want Trump to win is just to own the libs. Like unironically, that is their reason. And it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, like underlying, even though there are contemptuous left-leaning people, like underlying, I think most of the people who are Democrats genuinely do like, there's like a policy they care about, or even if it's some weak-ass shit, like they want to preserve the liberal dignity of, you know, the electoral engagement or whatever dumbass shit. But like, there's some underlying like value there. A lot of conservatives really are just fucking contemptuous. A lot of them really just fucking hate women. They fucking hate black people, and they do. One thing that I dislike amongst like the kind of edgy skeptosphere and like sometimes parts of the left as well is the idea that people are exclusively motivated by some sort of high-minded economic interest, even if it's misguided. I think it's important to recognize a lot of people are just hateful, miserable pieces of shit.
Kind of like you, Vosh. But yeah,
use elections as a shot of hurting people. They've been doing this for centuries. They did it back when the Confederacy seceded. They didn't do this because they had some high-minded economic principles they wanted to defend. They wrote into their constitutions the moral necessity of suppressing and dominating black people. Like there are people who are just motivated by that, and I think it's
they just want to be hateful. They just want to be nasty. You know. I mean, we're all motivated by that to some degree. If we have the power to own people and to truly, you know, and I mean own in the sense of, you know, rhetoric, not actually physically own them. But yeah, people will do that.
Important to remember that.
Yeah, I don't think they're the majority, but there definitely are.
They're not the majority, but they are the leaders. They are the loudest. Yeah.
A lot of people who were giving me shit, like, were just like, come on, you know, the join the winning team thing. That's all they do. They're like, okay, it's not too late to join our side and win. It's like, you don't care about policy or anything? Like, why would what's the winning team? What does that mean?
You don't care about policy either, Vosh. You just want to own the fash. And you talk about, you know, basically, you know, just saying that, you know, immigrants are good, this and that. So what are you talking about, bro?
Just about winning?
No, yeah, it is about winning.
It's so weird.
There was a Reddit comment.
It's not weird. It's just a sense of we don't give a fuck about anybody else, you know, and we just want to win, jackass.
From like a year ago that I remember very fondly because it got clipped like a trillion times. And the Reddit comment said something like, it said like, I don't think you guys understand. I don't care about right or wrong. I don't care if Trump is right. I've sunk everything into this. It's about winning now. And like it got clipped a bunch of times, but I think that's representative of the views of a lot of Trump supporters. Their identities are just so heavily invested in that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sending you a picture. Hold on. Look at this.
Wait, there are people screaming. What is this? Pennsylvania not close? What is this? Neither Michigan nor Pennsylvania seem poised to be especially close.
Understand where they're cheating things. Like they one YouTuber was coping in my mentions, and they posted this thing that in Michigan, I think it looks like the Democrats, like it shot up out of nowhere, like the votes, and they're just like, look, this is cheating, but that's just how mail-in
That's what they're talking about. That state.
Where did this come from though? Or why did it take so long for these mail-in ballots to come in? Everyone's, you know, confused to say that, oh, well, these votes are counted this time and these votes are counted at that time. It's very complicated, and it's different in state and state. And people aren't explaining it properly. And of course, we've seen a lot of this stuff go on. But yeah,
state specifically had it. You
Yeah.
can read this on Wikipedia. They released the results of all the
Vosh
mail-in
is kinda
ballots
getting
at
fatter,
once
yeah.
after all of them have been counted. Like, that's it. So we all knew, and
And
we
it was-
all knew the mail-ins were going to favor Biden, and it happened.
Yeah, we knew that for weeks, and it was also like Detroit too, which is like super Democrat,
Yeah,
right?
did they think Detroit was going to come out? Yeah, the fucking hidden MAGA hats
Who? Whoever thought that?
squad in Detroit rolling out and confused. He was like, wait, Abraham Lincoln? I'm not Abraham Lincoln. I don't understand. What are you saying? I actually don't fraud because they're not allowing rando decided on statehood, so it's going to be sent up to Congress.
Okay, that's enough cringe. I'm sorry. Yeah, please watch Vosh's video about Tucker and the MAGA cult. All right. Okay, since you asked, all right. Okay, since you asked. Kind of feeling sleepy, but I'll go ahead and do it.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, we got a take from Peter Coffin. Let's see. Peter Coffin says the fact we can't have a left that talks like this is why we lose. Okay, and he links to Tucker Carlson. Now hold on. Let's listen to Tucker Carlson.
Pullman, I want to begin this show with a single image. Now, the image doesn't tell you who's going to win or lose tomorrow. Instead, it's a metaphor for the election itself and for the moment that we're living in and will continue to live in. The picture is from a town called Butler, Pennsylvania. It's 35 miles from
Butler.
The president held a rally there over the weekend. Butler's like a lot of places you'll find in this country once you head inland from the coasts. It's a former industrial town. They made Pullman rail cars there for many years.
Okay.
But it's been losing population for decades. There's still a lot of nice people in Butler. For 60 grand, you can buy a decent house there. It's a place
Okay.
you might be happy in. But our professional class is not impressed by Butler. They don't consider Butler, Pennsylvania, or places like it the future.
Well, it's objectively not. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't know what he means by our professional class, Mr. Multimillionaire heiress, fucking Ron Swanson. But when it comes to like the future of our American economy, it is objectively the case that the Rust Belt is not it. Like obviously.
What's the future of it then, Vosh?
My God, is Peter Coffin going to embrace this like hardcore populist rural towns? You're wrong. Rural towns are the future as more people start to work remotely. No. Oh God, no. Oh God. People. What? No. Hold on. Okay, we need to have a talk. Are you guys ready for the talk? It's time for.
Well, yeah, once again, Vosh is a huge urbanite. So he believes that cities are still hugely, people want to live in cities, apparently. Yeah, let's hear this.
For us to have the talk, okay? Are you guys ready for it? You guys are ready for it, okay? All right, everyone needs to get ready for it, okay? Whether you guys like it or not, it is objectively the case that the future of this country is in cities.
Oh, what cities, Vosh?
The reason why is because we have a service economy, and service economies, that is to say, economies where the industrial needs of the population are handled either automatically or from other countries. Service economies rely on tight networks of high population density areas, which allow for people to interact with the greatest possible frequency.
Urbanite, yeah, exactly, yeah. Anti-urbanite, yeah.
The problem right now is that in the Rust Belt, we have all these dying towns because industrial manufacturing has mostly left America. This is not inherently a bad thing.
Go ahead.
In fact, this is, I'm forgetting the proper term right now. This is a product of essentially inevitable economic forces. What we should do is we should learn to make smaller communities in America efficient, integrated, and a part of the modern world.
What the hell does that mean? I mean, this sounds like a literal ANCAP argument right now.
But we should not act as though the development of small town America is the product of some sort of nefarious scheme by the elites to fuck over the little guy. This would have happened anyway.
Oh, really? It wouldn't have. It would have happened anyway. Apparently, you know. Oh, the government paying, you know, farmers, you know, millions of dollars was that was going to happen anyway. You know, the companies being, you know, the all the businesses that being sent to China back in the 70s and 80s, that was inevitable. It was inevitable that happened. I mean, once again, for a guy who claims to be, you know, such a researcher, this and that, it wasn't inevitable. It was not inevitable at all. It was a geopolitical choice. It was a chance for capitalists to save money. But of course, Vaush doesn't care about things like this.
Absolutely, this would have happened anyway. Now, the fact that we haven't done more for small town America is a product in large part of classism and of city bias when it comes to economic development. But treating it as though like America belongs to like the small town little man and the big city people are like these contemptuous snobs looking down on them.
They are. They do, though. How many times have you seen it where the memes and the shit libs who are just like, well, we're going to send 100,000 people to Montana because we can, because they need to be progressive, damn it. They need to have our values. Or this idea, once again, that, oh, well, red states just get all their money from blue states, and they're all just dumb redneck hicks. Are you kidding me? That snobbishness definitely exists. But people like you, I mean, you probably hold that view as well, Vaush. You know, and of course he claims, of course, that, oh, well, I came from a small town in California. That's like, bro, that's not. Go ahead.
I don't think that's good, and I don't think that's true. And I think, unfortunately, that tends to correspond to a lot of anti-intellectualism. This.
Ugh. Yep. He doesn't even consider isolationism or protectionism. Yeah. Fellow independent small farmers and cease our food supply to urban centers. Yeah, there you go. Just ignore the cat. She's just wilding out. What are you doing there? Huh? Okay.
This is so obvious, though. Doesn't everyone know this? No. There are a lot of lefties. Hold on. Mahoga Sawa. You got to chill. You're getting banned, dude. Holy shit. You're mauling as fuck. There are a lot of cities. Fuck, what was I saying? I really do have a fish brain. My God.
Yeah. Get back to me.
There are a lot of lefties who fetishize small-town America. I don't think we should fetishize small-town America. I don't think we should fetishize cities either. We should recognize that urban and suburban development are a product of economic forces that are largely an inevitable outcome of technological advancements, and we should do our best to work around these changes rather than clashing head-to-head with them. But we can finish this. We can finish.
No. The thing is that, once again, cities, for the most part, have higher taxes. They enforce very strict laws on, automobiles. You can't park on this side of the street, otherwise you're going to get ticketed like $300, and we're going to tow your vehicle. Places like Philly, holy shit, that's awful for, cars. I mean, I can't, oh my gosh. I mean, I can't believe this type of shit, and talk about New York City. I mean, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Yeah. Blue states are net negative on the economy. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One other thing, by the way. A lot of here. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to remember the hot take, by the way. Here's a good test to see if the leftist you're talking to is probably a racist. If when they think of working class, they think of white coal miner, they're probably a racist. I think sometimes I get this vibe from Amber with Chapo Trap House, okay? The majority of the working class in this country has not historically and contemporarily been fucking Appalachian coal miners. It has been people of...
Oh, look at that. I love the fact that he was like, I don't want to screw over in the last video. I don't want to screw over the people of Appalachia. I don't want to do that, but
color working in inner cities. Okay. So when you think of the working class and you go to think of like the Rust Belt or Appalachia or whatever, not to say those people aren't working class. Okay. But when
I love that. Oh,
it's like what you think of when you think of the working class. That is a very, very indicative of a bias, I generally think of fast food workers. Yeah, I do too. Fast food workers are the modern day working class.
If you want to say that, all right. The thing is that, fast food workers, I mean, I guess you could say they're working class, but ultimately that doesn't really represent a big margin because ultimately a lot of those fast food jobs are going away anyway. So, yeah.
Why is crime higher in cities than suburbs? Because there are more people packed together in cities. Also,
I love when he argues with his audience. I love that. There's more people packed in the cities. That sounds like a bad thing, to pack everybody into a city so that they all can try to live together. And some people are going to benefit over others. But yeah, cities are perfectly fine, bro.
Tend to be a lot more poor people.
Just settlers. It really is settlers tier bullshit. It really is. Yeah. Cities are crazy authoritarian, but he's a libertarian socialist who's pro-city. Exactly. Because he has grown up as an urbanite scumbag. The thing is that, I live in kind of a mid-tier city. And I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, obviously one of the biggest cities, but it's like I can see for myself, yeah, cities are kind of cringe, I mean, the big city is kind of cringe, It's like, 2 or 3 million people living in a city, where you have these huge apartment complexes and this and that, or, living in the projects or something like that. No, that's some fucked up shit. I'm just going to tell you right now. The riots, are just a natural outcome of that. And it's like people just expect it,
What do we define working class as? Well, as a Marxist, working class would be just like just the proletariat. But usually when people say working class in the context of like the poor working class or like the rural poor, we mean generally people who are not part of the labor aristocracy either.
Oh boy.
To them, places like Butler are embarrassing relics of a past best forgotten. The men of Butler may have built this country, and they did, but they mean nothing to our leaders now.
Why is poverty higher in cities? It's not. There are rural counties that have significantly higher poverty than cities. Do you mean why are there more poor people in cities? Because there are more people in cities.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
You can be certain of that because when large numbers of people in Butler started killing themselves with narcotics, no one in Washington or New York or Los Angeles said a word about it.
No, because they didn't care. Because they were there were people in New York and Los Angeles were busy becoming prostitutes and ended probably some of them killing themselves, but with a gun or with a knife.
It continued. There have now been so many opioid deaths in Butler that a few years ago, residents built an overdose memorial in the middle of town.
Jesus.
MSNBC didn't cover that. So given...
What do you mean MSNBC didn't cover that? Did Fox News cover that? I'm sorry, wait, does News cover that?
Hold on. Give me a minute, I'll be right back.
Cover that?
Oh,
Or are you doing it now?
All of that, it was interesting how the people around Butler feel about Donald Trump. Here are the pictures of the president's rally there on Saturday night. Tens of thousands of people came. So many people that the crowd obscured the horizon. It looked like a visit from the Pope.
Well, that can happen with a crowd of any. Wait, that could happen with a crowd of like 50 people.
No, future civilization is emptying out of the
When was the last
megalopolis.
time
Yeah.
a political speech drew that many people?
Well,
the media didn't ask.
What?
Instead, the attack rally is a super spreader event.
I mean, it is. I can't see masks on any of these people, and literally tens of thousands of people have gotten COVID because of Trump rallies. Hold on. Butler rally. What was the size? Trump's Butler rally. Hold on. Oh, wow. If you look it up, the first link you get is a PolitiFact link debunking a claim that 57,000 people attended. No shit. That's not 57,000 fucking people. Jesus Christ. One Facebook post claims that the Trump rally held in Pennsylvania on Halloween had a crowd of nearly 60,000, which would make it Trump's largest rally either. Thousands of supporters attended the event north of Pittsburgh, but we found no evidence the number is as high as the post claims. No official attendance number has been released, but the Penn Township Police Department told us officers at the event estimated around 15,000 people. Wow, that's less people than showed up at the Bernie rally at the Tacoma Dome that I went to earlier this year. The Butler Eagle, the county's daily newspaper, reported that more than 10,000 people showed up. Yeah, about 15,000. Yeah, okay. Then they just made up the number 57,000. And here's Tucker Carlson claiming that it was the largest Trump rally ever. Yeah, there are more.
You know what?
people
I don't
watching
even
this
care
stream
about
right
him
now
debating
than were
Tucker
present at
Carlson.
that
Let me
rally.
see.
Sorry, Trump. Sorry, Tucker.
Trump endangers thousands.
Okay, let's
in
listen to this
Pennsylvania.
shit. Okay.
For Trump is a vote against them. That's what's going on in that picture. That's what's going on in this country.
I'm pretty sure that if Tucker Carlson went up to your average Republican with a glass full of fucking Kool-Aid, they would drink it. They would just take it. They would drink it. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of something Soviet. And I'm not doing some both sides stuff. I don't really think anyone in my audience believes that Stalin was a left-leaning character. But it's something that he did too.
Oh.
This narrative that Donald Trump didn't want to be president, but he had to be to save the people. This is something they did with Joe Stalin as well. You know, the other Joe.
Boy.
And the gist of
He was literally, he didn't want to be president. He didn't want to be premier, but they kept voting for him. But yeah, go ahead.
it was essentially that several times they did this theater. Stalin would attempt to step down as, you know, supreme leader. And then, you know, the council, they would say, no, we need you. Stalin, we need you. And then Stalin would go, oh, okay. Okay. All right. You need me. I want to retire to a farm, but I'll stay. Yeah, they did the same shit with Hitler too. Yeah.
What?
It's just a very, very common trope.
When did the hell did that happen? You know, Joseph Stalin ruled for a whole lot longer than Hitler, so I never heard that shit. But yeah, go ahead.
It's an extremely common trope. The idea is that it's a way of downplaying the excessive brutality of a leader. You indicate to them they're not power thirsty, they're not power hungry, they're not, you know, a voracious tyrant. They're reluctant to be in power. Yeah, Caesar rejecting the crown. Yeah. Authoritarians do this time and time again because it makes it look as though they're not actually power hungry, even though Donald Trump says he wants to win. Even though Donald Trump has literally said that he wants a third term because he feels his first term doesn't count because of the Russiagate investigation. This guy isn't power hungry. Yeah. This thing where you turn down the power, or in Trump's case, because we live in a democracy, if he turned down the power, he actually would turn it down. Because if he resigned, then he resigned. So he can't do that. Instead, rather than him saying it, his fans have to make up this narrative about him. They have to make up this narrative that he's this reluctant leader. And on him, they impose the same narrative that the old tyrants imposed. But the saddest thing is, at least with the old tyrants, they were the ones to do it. For Trump, they're making it up for him. The Trump supporters are so desperate for tyranny, so desperate to live under that boot, so desperate to live in that.
Oh, yes. And so what are you saying? Are you the person that's going to free him, jackass? I don't think you are.
That they're making the narrative up, making the justification up for Trump. They're doing it for him.
Yep. What a load of crap. All right, I have been going now for almost 3 hours. That's ridiculous. Oh, I hope y'all enjoyed this stream. I don't really have much else to say. Like I say, whatever happens with the elections, whether, the whole ballot business, ultimately just overthrows the whole fucking thing and Joe Biden becomes president, or whether it's, whether it's Donald Trump that returns, I say, who cares? I say, who cares at the end of the day? Because ultimately, Joe Biden is just going to be a lot more. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but basically, I think that he's going to be somebody who will give lip service. He's basically going to recreate neoliberalism, even more so. And no one in the GOP even supports Trump. OMG, dictator. Yeah, exactly. It's just, who cares at this point, though? Joe Biden is going to try to link up with Europe again. He's going to continue to, support neoliberal policies. He's not going to provide UBI, or at least, maybe, you know what? I'll back up on that. Maybe he will. But there's going to be a huge amount of, strings attached to it. This idea that somehow he's going to create electric cars means that he's going to work with Elon Musk, probably, who I know the left doesn't like, and I don't really care for necessarily, but it's just like, it's ridiculous, yeah. But yeah, I pretty much said my piece, so. So let's go ahead and play the old outro here, and we'll call it there. Apologies if the audio gets doubled, but yeah, Dem's lip service is way worse than neocon lip service. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, UBI is a pressure relief valve. That's really all it is. Yeah, I agree. Let's go ahead and play the outro then, and I'll see you later, folks.